Yeah, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. As I said before, men are in fear, women are just surviving. I'm hearing so many conversations, reading through the comments. One of the things that I'm often hearing is that none of this advice is working. You guys think the advice is working everybody is giving? Or don't nobody know what they're talking about?
Maybe a little bit of all of it.
A bit all of it.
Maybe a little bit of all of it.
Right. What advice? Like, what advice you talking about from here, just in general?
Just relationship advice, man. Marriage advice. Who's giving them the actual advice? If they qualified to give it. There's just so many things that I'm hearing in regards to that these conversations are pointless. I'm just wanted to see what you guys had thought.
I think people forget what advice is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a suggestion, an opinion. It's not law. I don't think it's bad advice, and I think people get mixed up with the message and the messenger or how the messenger says it a lot of times.
I don't think we've given it enough time to marinate. I think that the narrative of relationships have been heavily on the female's lens for a long time. And so we're just starting to maybe turn around to actually allow the men to enter the conversation from our perspective because we've been so silent for so long. I think we got another maybe 5 years before it gets to the point where we can actually have honest conversations.
Hey, True, why'd you say 5 years? What's going to change within 5 years of the messaging?
I think we're in that, like they say, changing direction, changing people's habits takes at least a decade, at least a generation. Like you remember when the iPhone came out, it wasn't a complete conversion, like debit cards, anything. It takes people time. So I think we're right there now that there's conversations being had. So just give it 5 years, you'll start to hear what we're saying now be readily repeated, in my opinion.
All right.
I mean, personally, I feel like people turn to social media more than ever for advice, and the algorithms do reward controversy and emotion, you know, over advice. So it's entertainment over actual wisdom that people are now listening to and resonating with, in my opinion.
Go ahead, True. I know you came off the mic. Not True, but Trev.
So I think we're on the verge of a collapse where everything's going to go wrong first. We're going to have serious issues. There's a lot more of a fallout that's going to happen before there's a correction. I don't think that people are just going to start behaving well all of a sudden when we don't have anything to support it. We don't have the right guidance. We don't have the right role models. We don't have the right parenting. We don't have the skill set. We don't know about finances. We don't know about emotions. We don't know about just simply getting along with each other. We don't even know what it is we're supposed to be looking for in a relationship. I think we'll be forced to soon enough, but we're going to have to seriously fail before we get a reset. True might be right about that 5 year timeline. It's going to take some time, but it's not going to be because we decided to do well. It's going to be because we were forced to.
Go ahead, Willie. What you thinking about as far as where we are when it comes to this whole dating, the dating advice not working, nothing's changing. We having the same conversations over and over again. You know, me just so you know, brother.
My bad. I think we're where we're supposed to be. The people who deserve the outcomes they want are getting them, and the ones who don't. So I don't have an issue with that at all. As far as the conversations that we keep having, it's just because the conversations are cyclical because the algorithms and these platforms reward these conversations. People are entertained by these conversations, so they keep taking part in them. But what I do appreciate about that is that the people who are getting the outcomes they want, they stop taking part in these conversations because they realize that they can't speak to it anymore. They're not subject matter experts on being bitter or alone or overfucked. Men are subject matter experts on being used for their money, being played, or being ignored by women because they have women. So the people that are continuing to have these conversations are the people that haven't done the work to get the outcomes they want. So they're going to still be in this space and they're going to do what's familiar because what humans do.
Thinking, Bo. The context was that I started off the opening up with was that people are saying we having the same conversations over and over again. It's not helping. People are not qualified to speak on it. So what are your thoughts about information that's being filtered out here today?
Hold on. I think that I agree. We are having a bunch of circular conversations. I don't think that the point is that it's not doing any good. I think it's doing a great deal of good. Um, I think it's exposing a lot of people who nobody should want, like the Blue Chew crew in the comments. Um, I think that it's exposing a lot of problematic people. We can see them now. We can actually hear how they think now. And um, I think that the people who are having the circular conversations, the people who are refusing to understand the other side, are the ones that are going to stay single and miserable. I think that those who have this conversation, who take the opportunity to learn and listen and broaden their perspective on the other, on the for the other side, I think that they're going to fare a little better than them. But I do agree with Willie. I'm like, people who are good people are doing well for themselves and they're not hurting in the dating world like that. It's a little frustrating, but I think that dating in general has always been frustrating, especially since the 50s, 60s. So I think that that's nothing new. And I think that people who are going to get results are just going to get them.
All right, I got a clip. Anybody want to respond when anybody said?
It was Trev, I believe, that was saying about that we have to fail first. And if we're having such issues with relationships, have we not already failed, essentially? Not having, too many nuclear families, as people talk about a lot. And maybe that's also a misconception too. I don't go out and try to figure out who has two family homes and stuff like that. But my question is, have we not already failed in some manner?
I think as a society, we are certainly failing. But as far as relationships are concerned, it's difficult to notice the failure because what social media, dating apps have provided is perceived unlimited options, right? So when you can keep going through the cycle over and over and over, well, this time I found somebody who could who could make me laugh. This time I found somebody who got good McLovin. This time I found somebody who got the bread. So eventually I'm going to find somebody with a good combination. This guy was almost as good, but he just didn't really like me like that. The next dude I run into, I'm going to give him that fire and he going to like me. So we have to keep getting bumped in the head until we get it. Some of us are way more stubborn than others. Most of us do not think that we should make adjustments. We want to keep blaming it on the opposite person and thinking that it's something that they're doing wrong rather than seeking within and saying, look, I'm going to go ahead and fix this. Maybe my failures, and they'll instead call it your failures. And I think when you say your failures instead of my own and making the adjustments, it's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Go ahead, Bo.
I have to disagree with that. I don't think that we're failing as a society at all. Um, I think that people are changing what they want. I read a post today about this lady who's living a solo poly lifestyle. Like, she dates several men and they date whoever they date. And she's like, I looked at the traditional relationships and she was like, I just opted out. I didn't want that. I didn't want the struggle love. I didn't want the, all of the other things that comes with dating men, and being marriage minded. Like, she didn't want that. I think that people are waking up and choosing different things for themselves. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that as a society, we are waking up to a lot of these things that we have been taught to think. We have been taught to do, and we're choosing things for ourselves. And in that choosing, sometimes it can become a little toxic, it can become a little chaotic, but a lot of things, like things going through an evolution, are a little chaotic until they settle. But we're out of men having to provide, women having to stay at home. We're in another relationship dynamic. Capitalism says we have to work. And so society has taken a turn and we're adapting to it. And I think that the people who make up their own reality, who choose things for themselves and not what they have been taught to think, because people often are not thinking their own thoughts. They're thinking the thoughts that have been told to them. So I think that people who do that are a lot happier in whatever that looks like for them. So I don't think that we're failing as a society. I think that we're actually on our way to thriving.
I think everybody has valid points I think things were a lot better back then. So I don't feel like that. I really don't think that we're on our way to thriving. I think that things are going to definitely get a lot worse. I think that because people want to make their own decisions, then this is their own decisions. They don't want to be led by anybody. They don't want anyone to tell them what to do. They don't want to consider the other person. I think that this is the reason why there's such a lack of, I guess, companionship. I feel like the traditional things, people have more values and you had common goals. I don't see that now. I think a lot of it is social media. I think nobody wants everybody wants their own autonomy, and I understand that. However, it just comes with a lot of things. People don't want to answer to anybody or consider another person. And I think it's pretty selfish, to be honest.
So
Do I have a delay?
so
Or echo? I
somebody
hear it.
has an echo.
Somebody's just echoing.
That's what
Keisha, that's you.
So are you saying, never mind.
No, go ahead.
It's just that so the issue that I always have is not what people think. I don't think that traditional values are wrong at all whatsoever. I think they're wrong for those who don't want to follow them. The issue I have is you all think that that is the solution for everyone, and it is not. That's just not how people can operate. We can't be all traditional, all straight. Like everybody has to be straight, heterosexual, nuclear family, and that's how we're gonna, thrive as a society. And that's just not true. Like
But look
we
how
have
we
so
are
many
thriving
other,
right
huh?
now. Look how we are thriving right now. Like, yes, things have gotten better with technology. Yes, we're moving in that direction. I feel like that's thriving, but look at the family dynamics.
Family dynamics are fine because people are choosing what they want their family dynamics to look like. Like
And
I
they're screwed
said,
up.
it depends on who you ask. There are a lot
But
of people happy with how they are raising their family. There are a lot of healthy children coming out of relationships that are not particularly traditional. Like, it's okay to have traditional relationships. It's okay to have non-traditional relationships.
yeah, it's okay to have non-traditional, but I feel like because people don't value people and don't value what units are, then this is the reason why we have so many broken families. Like, people don't do the work to keep families together. They don't do the work to maintain solid relationships. I just think that it's definitely on a decline.
I mean, I agree. I don't disagree with you, but do you think that just because we don't have these traditional values that it also can't work?
It's not that I don't think it can work. I think that when people wonder why things are not going things are going in such a negative direction, or they don't have that like foundation, then look at what your thought process is. And I'm not saying
So
you, but I'm just saying it
no,
in
I know.
general. Yeah.
But also, do you think that the things that worked for our grandparents and great grandparents would actually work for us in this context?
I mean, I think so, but because people change it, it's not working. People just,
There's a lot of people that are not changing it, and things still don't work out.
Sorry.
No, because you said it, Bo. It's not to you. It's to the women that are like you who are listening, right? I think to challenge a structure is dangerous. I'm gonna explain to you why. There's never been an all. Nowhere in society has there been just 100% of everything. There's always been bandits. There's always been, rebels. There's always been people who went against the grain. Always. In any century you want to do your historical research around. The issue is that we're still in somewhat of a transitional stage. I don't know if the proper word or verbiage is failure or thrive. I think none of us have lived long enough to see this experiment work over the duration of the other experiment, which was structure. Structure maintains society for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Somebody or a group of people decided to start breaking structure, maybe at the turn of the century. So we're about 126 years of this newfound autonomy, innovation, and all those things combined, right? But the runway of humanity hasn't been able to now take this data and say which one was better. I'm more inclined to believe when I look at just subsets of things, like I'll take the military, for example. The reason why the military, in my opinion, is a great example is because there's no way you can go to the military and then have an individual mindset and expect to be successful. And there's an illusion in America that because we're free and you can dress how you want and say what you want, that there isn't rules and consequences and repercussions. There is. Our society is structured. Our freedoms are comparable to other nations that won't allow you to be as loose with your lips, but there's still consequences. Folks still get thrown in jail for violating laws. So that tells me that this freedom that we have still is subjective to how you enact in that freedom. There's taxes that have to still be paid. You can buy a house right now, as you know, and you can't just do what you want in your front yard or next to it to a degree.
Bo says, yeah.
Give me.
Can I piggyback off of that? Okay, I'm sorry, True. Go ahead.
I'm almost done. I promise. So I think that what's happening, this is my assumption, pick on y'all women for a second, just for a second. I think once y'all got the gates blown wide open and you tasted freedom to this much, now you want to push it and see how far this freedom can actually go. That's what I think. And since we've allowed it, and even in that, the freedom was tied to things like the innovation of birth control and so on and so forth. And so now it's like, well, we can leave without husbands? Cool. What else can we do? We can work full time? Cool. What else can we do? And now you're seeing the snowball effect, which is natural human behavior. We always gonna push the envelope. That's what I think. So I think we may not be alive to even see it, but
and you know what? I can agree with you on that point about women's freedom, whatever. I think that there still needs to be an order. I think that a lot of women who experience this freedom, some of them like it. Some of them like the lady I was talking about. But some of them get out there and they learn, oh, no. Like, I don't want to do all of this. Because they see what it gets them, right? Because a lot of times it doesn't get them any results. And so you do have to get back in that order. At least a little bit. At least a lot of bit. And maybe not all the way. But yeah, I mean, because we're human too, right? But yeah, like I can agree with it.
And I was just going to say really quick, I just want to make the point, like, even I look at it even like with kids, like back then you didn't, talk, against your parents, right? It's like they had the last word. You're not questioning all these question what they say and what they do. Otherwise, you knew there was a consequence, right? It was always going to be a consequence. Now these kids are saying, well, you didn't get permission to take my picture. Now it's like, oh, you have to get consent for this. It's like, what? Since when do, like, now things have just shifted. So now it's like, look at these dynamics with these children. It's like they get to say so. Nobody is respectful. You knew when you walked into somebody's house, you speak to them. Now these kids don't even speak to you. When they see you, it's like, well, you coming to my house, you're supposed to speak to me. So there is a huge shift with that. But I'm sorry, Miss Restoring the Village.
Oh no, you're completely fine. I was going to chime in anyways. I was just waiting for you guys to finish your points. I don't know if he wanted to respond to that, but I can go after. Oh, okay. The only thing I was going to say is I feel like we went from one extreme generation to another. The generation before us was the generation of, make a choice and make it the right one. And now we're in the generation of make the right choice. So we overemphasize options. And unfortunately, it's led to people not really being able to commit to anything at this point because nobody wants to take on, the responsibility or any accountability when it comes to relationships, managing relationships. Again, even when you said about children, we went from one extreme to another. We went from a generation that was over parentified and, no social emotional skills, complete lack of empathy, to this generation now where it's, an overemphasis on mental health and communication and emotional communication, to where there's literally no balance, unfortunately. And I feel like that's the collapse that, the brothers were talking about earlier. But yeah, that was all I wanted to add.
I think everybody makes really good points, but from just my viewpoint, it seems as if we're forgetting that a lot of these things that we're saying work is only working because so many people have failed at it, that group that's of failures has determined that, maybe we're not failures. This just wasn't for us. It's like, it's a clever way of saying, like, it's just cope. For example, like, we asked what worked for our grandfathers work for us today? No, because we aren't our grandfathers and the women aren't our grandmothers. Our grandfathers used to go upside our grandmothers' heads. You can't do that now. Our grandfathers used to be able to shame women for being promiscuous, being all of these negative things that have, degraded our society. 3, our grandfathers grew up seeing other men and women as one cohesive unit where the woman was, with the man, respected him, took care of the house and home. So it's unrealistic for a lot of men in our age to take those things or to expect those things from women. But when we remove the enforcement arm, that was shame. I think a lot of that gave way for these women and these guys are, saying, like, I'm happy being fat, I'm happy being a hoe, I'm happy being single. Well, you can't make it seem like you're saying those things are by choice when you don't even have the option to do something different. A lot of people are single due to not by choice, but due to their choices. A lot of people, the same reason most men and women are obese, the same reason most men and women are poor communicators, is due to their choices. So you can't, again, the best analogy I have is that's like a woman meeting a man. And he's like, well, I didn't go to the NBA because, I didn't want to. No, nigga, you didn't go because you're 5'2" and you can't shoot. You didn't go to the NBA because you don't have a left hand. You didn't go to the NBA because you didn't get the grades. But he's placated himself by saying that, no, it's not my fault that I wasn't able to do the thing. I chose not to by intentionally not qualifying to do the thing. You see that with women when they're talking about they're single by choice. And you see that with men when they talk about, well, I'm okay being average or I'm okay being poor.
So, Willie, are you essentially saying that because the standard that was the standard, which would probably be equated to winners at one point, the people who cannot qualify are attacking that standard and basically trying to rewrite the rules, something like that?
That's exactly what it is. When a woman doesn't qualify for the beauty standard, she challenges it. When a man doesn't qualify for the man standard or whatever that is, he challenges it. That's what happens. That's what losers do. Like, we're in a participation trophy culture right now. And I think that's a really big issue for us. And if you look at and you add that to the fact that in an open market, You know what I'm saying? The market sets the price of the underlying asset through supply and demand. Well, in the dating market, women feel like they set their own value based on what they feel, think, and believe of themselves to be, instead of the consumers who are in the actual open market based on supply and demand. So when we have a market where women are setting their value based on their dynamic and ever-changing feelings, you can never expect them to have realistic prices. You have women who have 5 kids that swear that them having 5 kids does not make them any less attractive or valuable as a partner to a man than a woman who doesn't. You have men who think that, okay, well, I'm a high value man, even though there's 5 characteristics for that, and I don't meet but 2 of them, but I'm still going to call myself high value because I feel like I am. And that's the problem. We've gotten away from using words as they're clearly defined. Like, you have conversations on these panels where we have to define words like equal, submission, fair, today, tonight. Like, we've allowed women in mass to believe that, just because they can survive, that's good enough, when women in mass, if they would listen to men and go back, maybe a decade or two, more women would be thriving instead of just surviving.
Well, is it that because you said your grandparents' generation, they respected their men, or our grandparents' generation respected men? Was it respect, or was it just, you know, being controlled or out of fear, to where now, that generation, I'm not saying out of fear like for their life, but in the sense that there was no stability if they did not conform to the rules that were given to them. And
Well,
so the generation that grew up watching that said, I want better for myself. And so I'm going to provide myself with better, which is what led to the other extreme of overly extreme feminism and independence, to where women are like, we absolutely don't need men for anything at all now.
well, I don't think I think the better in that is subjective. Like, and the reason is because, again, a girl who is like, that's easy. I'm going to use it because it's an easy example, and it's something that we deal with on this panel a lot, especially in the chat. Like, a woman will be overweight and say that, well, I'm overweight because I want to be, knowing that if she could go back in time and there's like a created character where you can design your body like a we character, she wouldn't choose the body that she's in. That's why, like I'm saying, it's cope, because they saw something they wanted to do different. A girl growing up seeing her mother, or we say a grandfather, right? So my parents growing up and seeing my grandfather loving my grandmother, supporting her, working, whatever 18-hour days to provide for the household. If my mother saw that and said, I want better for myself, then I would question her, like, so why is what you deem as better to you? And a lot of the times it only comes as better because it requires less work, it gives you more autonomy, and then it gives you more options to choose the way that you live your life. And unfortunately, when you give, and this is not me saying all women, but when you give most women the excess of options, they choose incorrectly, which is indicative of their results today. More because of feminism, more women are antidepressants than ever before. We've killed 2 billion babies since 1980. Men have only killed 1 billion people in the history of ever. And then we also have the fact that, again, you just look at the divorce statistics, the statistics where the kids come outside of single mother homes. Like, feminism is one of those overcorrections that women made and was supported by the industrial complex that Bo likes to criticize. They tricked you guys out of your soft life spot and put you in the workforce to empower you and make you feel good. And this is what happens now.
What about that generation was soft, though?
The being able to stay at home, your primary purpose being to take care of your family, take care of your children, cook, take the benefits that your husband gave you, and use that, the whole, what's that saying they have for y'all? Make a man provide, compared to how hard y'all are today. Again, but I do appreciate it though, because in that generation, none of y'all be on the internet right now. It'll just be all men up here talking, because y'all be at home cooking and cleaning and tending to your men. And it seemed as if a lot of women these days like the ability to be equal to men in as many spaces as they can, when what would better serve them is fighting for equality, the same equality that men have in the majority of these spaces.
I feel like when I always hear people talk about that generation, they romanticize what was going on a lot of times. Both my grandparents and my parents were married, and I saw those dynamics, and that's also why I'm not personally someone who even thought about marriage until the more recent years of my life of like, is this something I would want to do with someone else? Because of those dynamics I saw, I didn't romanticize it. I didn't have the space to romanticize it because I saw what actually was going on. And it was literally still survival. It was still women surviving even then. So I don't think it's changed from that. It's just our means of survival are different now.
Well,
Absolutely.
go ahead. I wanted to ask you a question. Go ahead, Ms. Doreen.
Oh, I
Because
just
you
wanted to
made a
piggyback off what she said. I don't think that economic independence for women was, because they stopped valuing family or, the family dynamic. I would say that it's more because marriage isn't that safety net that women need anymore. A lot of women have stayed in, unfortunate marriages longer than they needed to because they had no financial backing to be able to support themselves, to be able to have any autonomy as an adult. They were kept in bad situations because of the fact that, unfortunately, that was just their place. That was the expectation from society. So, again, I do, reiterate that we went from one extreme to the other without any balance in the middle. I don't agree with, the new age extreme feminism of or hyper independence to where, we're completely destroying, family dynamics, and we're, completely against marriage and having children, so on and so forth. But I don't agree that it needs to go back to women need to stay home. Women need to, just cook, clean, and be barefoot and pregnant to serve their purpose.
I don't think that any of the men are necessarily saying that. And I'm definitely not necessarily saying that. But when you said that you and Miss Matt made reference to dynamics of the past, and I would be inclined to know, what did you perceive? Because unless you did an audit of majority of society, you probably only had anecdotal viewpoints of what your experience and your vantage point was, which is fair. I can't knock your viewpoint and your experience. But the challenge for me is that sometimes those family dynamics and what you were privy to were limited. You were children probably for the most part, so you really don't maybe understand the full range of dynamics of how things were going. This is my assumption. And I don't think that any one of you guys were in a position to, like I said, survey the world. I don't think there's a problem with women working today, having autonomy today, thriving or attempting to thrive. I think I find issue with most of what is dismissed about the past is the negative only, but we don't seem to know how to adopt the positive parts of it, because there was a lot of positive parts of it. There was an actual community. You had a lot of support. You had neighbors, you had family. Single moms weren't big in mass because you didn't have to have a baby just to yourself. And even if you did, you have the support of your family to shoulder some of that weight. So what has happened from my viewpoint is that women took, again, what they perceived as privilege and ran to the brink of it. But now we're still trying to figure out how to live between both worlds. So you want to say you're independent? Cool. We said men are saying, great, be independent. But you don't really want the full weight of independence. You want pseudo independence. You want the ability to still leave when you're over it. That's what I find interesting. So what I believe happened is now you don't have to deal with our shit, as some women would say, because the moment you're done and over, you can go work and have a job, and that's fine. But I don't see the better. I think that's what highlighted in my mind when you said women want better. I would be open to know what that better actually looks like from your opinion.
True. Can I ask you a question, champ?
Sure.
Would it be fair if someone said, I saw my dad doing all of these things for my mom, providing, protecting, loving, all that stuff, and then somehow chose that they wanted something different for themselves when they were older? Would it be fair to say that whatever they were talking about they saw from their parents isn't what we're talking about when we talk about the things like you just said? Would that be a fair assumption?
I mean, I think it'd be fair, but I'd like to know where you're leading with it, with your question.
And so a lot of people, we hear it on these panels. They say, well, I saw that growing up, or I saw it with my grandparents, but they can never describe the what. People think what they saw as a child and what they viewed as a child and what they were privy to back then was the complete picture. Because unless your grandmother and grandfather were including you in every conversation, every late night talk they had in bed, every phone call they had, they included you every decision. All you saw, you were a child, so you had a viewpoint from a child's place. So to think that that viewpoint from that child's place should hold any weight as an adult is why when we talk about going back to those generations, it's only the negative things that they can bring up. That you never see anybody speak against the community. You never see anybody speak against single mothers having support, because those are two things that women would benefit from today. If we had communities, with single mothers would be doing significantly better. If we were still shaming, but encouraging women to do things the right way, marry before you carry, keep your legs closed while you're dating, all of those things, women would be doing so much better today. But we're not. And you only see the negative thing. That's why I lead with them. Like when I said your grandfather would be able to, he used to be able to knock your grandmother's head between the washer and dryer. The police get called, hey, that's between y'all, it's a domestic thing. That's what it was like back then. So I give them a free one, but then in good faith, there's never a good one given back to us when we have these conversations. It just stays negative. And what I believe that is because they can't concede any ground. Because if they cede any ground, like the people who think this way, it disproves everything about their life, everything. Because if you saw the good part growing up that we're talking about, and you chose to want something different, and then you called that different better when we were saying what we proved to be is best, that you just are contrarian at this point, and you want it to be independent, you want it to be grown, and you didn't want to have to listen to a man. And at the end of the day, that's what the majority of this boils down to. If you look at where the majority of these women are in life, like today, as we sit here, look at the results of their lives, and then that will tell you what they deserve. And it's usually based on what they're willing to do according to their belief system.
All right, go ahead, Bo.
I'm just I'm just trying to figure out, like, women get blamed literally for like being a regular adult. And then when we list all of the things that make us a regular adult, then y'all be like, well, this just being an adult. I'm just trying to figure out how any of this is our fault. Like, I am 45. How is any of this my fault? How is the fact that I had to go and be successful my fault? How is it that I was raised to be independent my fault? How is it even my parents' fault? Mostly just because they're trying to keep me from being homeless. How is it anyone's fault in this generation that we have to adhere to the rules of capitalism? Like, you talk about women who are just fully grown adults as if we're wrong for existing in society. I don't understand independent women. What is the problem with being independent? I see the problem with being hyper independent. I don't see a problem with being independent, though.
So, Bo, this is where I wish somebody else would have said this, but I know that since you said it, you won't take it personally.
No.
You're saying that we care of the issues being independent. We don't give a shit what y'all do while y'all are single. We're talking about in relationships where y'all still want to be independent. Your parents raised you to be independent adults because that's their job. Which back then, I would say our parents are doing a significantly better job. The average 18-year-old is not ready to leave the house at nearly the clip that our generation was.
Yeah.
Because when we were 18, a lot of us knew when we're done, 18, you gotta go. Or the first time you call yourself smelling yourself, as they would say, it's time for you to go. So we're not talking about you being independent. That's not an issue. It's the fact is that you guys want to get with a man in any relationship type and expect for him to play a significantly traditional role while you play a significantly modern role. That's where the conversation is at. But so you're doing all those average things like the cooking, the cleaning, the going to school, the going to work. Nobody has an issue with that. Where those things become an issue is when you use them as a talking point in a conversation where you're dating somebody, where you use that as saying, hey, well, why would I do that for a man? I can do A, B, C, and D by myself. When the answer is, why would you, like you say, we've seen, what's the big jaw girl talking about, why would I go 50-50 with a man when I can just pay 100% of the bills by myself. You would pay 50-50 with the man because 50% of a $5,000 mortgage is significantly better than paying all of that shit by yourself. But to them, having to listen to and be led by a man is not worth the money to them. They would rather struggle than to listen to a man who wants to protect and provide from them. Because these same women who swear they want leaders, they don't. They want chauffeurs. A woman listens to a leader, and wherever he goes, she follows. A woman can tell a chauffeur where to take her, how to get him there, and then what car to drive and exactly what route to take. And that's what it seems like most women want. And they use chauffeur, like being chauffeured and being led synonymously.
So I don't disagree with you. Like I don't disagree with any of that. But you say independent women. Those are hyper independent women. Those are women who are overly independent that does not those are the women that don't even want men.
But
They don't really want they want children is what they want. They want somebody to tell what to do. But an independent woman knows how to be codependent. I mean, not codependent, interdependent.
So
Like-
that's where we disagree.
Okay.
Because again, I'll tell you why. Remember, I said y'all like to redefine things, not you specifically, just women in general.
Mhm.
Hyper independent, all that's not a thing. It's either you're independent or you're the same. It's independent, dependent, or interdependent. Like those are the three options.
Mhm.
Y'all made an extra option just so you can use it to describe yourself being too much of the one thing, which is independent. You being hyper independent is like a woman saying, "Well, I'm not fat. I'm hyper thick." Like that's not a thing. That's not how that works. And it's not. And to be fair, it's not y'all's fault because a lot of men have allowed you to do it, right? But you notice that I'm not one of those. I've always pushed back on words already having a definition. Merriam-Webster's, it's got 1 billion words in it. Use them shits accordingly. So it's not about hyper independence. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about are the women who literally think that, well, I'm gonna get with a man. He's gonna be responsible for everything, including me, including my safety, my provision, my protection, being required to not required to, expecting to lay his life down in the event that it calls to, and all of these other dutiful things. While if he tells me he wants to cook, I can tell him I'm order DoorDash. If he tells me he doesn't want me to wear this, I'm still going to wear it because I'm a strong, independent woman. That's what we're talking about. That's not hyper independence. That's just refusing to be interdependent.
I just had a question real quick because you mentioned something about the 50-50. And if a woman refutes that, she's not following the leader. Do you agree with that? That a leader would go 50-50 with their partner?
Yes, I believe that a leader can still pay for half of his household financially because, again, where he covers up with the rest, he doesn't do half of the man stuff. He's not going to do half of the maintenance. He's not going to do half of the protecting. And he also doesn't have to get to take half of the responsibility for the household. So now, do I personally do that? Fuck no. But just because a man, which most men cannot, afford to protect and provide and pay for fully financially for a woman, that doesn't make him any less of a leader. Now, what I would give you and the ground that I can see there is that there is some equality and some more equity that he does lose there that he would necessarily have if he paid for 100% of everything. The problem is that women feel like he shouldn't have any because they feel they should be equals. And in a relationships don't work when women lead. Relationship in mass. There's always there's a sucker for everybody, and I'm not going to talk about those dudes tonight. We'll say that for Trey's show later. But for in mass, women don't do well leading relationships. They don't last long. Women's feelings are dynamic as they should be because that's your God-given biological and hormonal right. But when it comes to a man, if you tie a man's leadership qualification to him only being able to lead, then where most women will fail at that is we'll look at men. We're going to look at the men you slept with prior, the men you submitted to prior, the men you have kids with. And if all of those men were not the men who were paying for all of those households, how dare you require that of the next man that you choose to let lead you and you want to take his last name?
So, I mean, I personally just feel like what happens in a lot of these conversations is men, again, not you, but for the most part, they expect obedience without earning any respect. And they come in with like a very authoritarian type of leadership instead of being inspirational. And they just expect that having the title of being a man automatically gives you that entitlement of everyone around you following you, regardless of lack of characteristics that prove that maybe you don't have the leadership qualities that you think you're entitled to, behavioral qualities, just lifestyle in general that maybe don't give that automatic entitled leadership role. And I think when women combat that, this type of conversation comes up to where it's
I
like, well, you want me to protect you and provide for you and do all these things for you. If we look at the economy and it's just excuses are given, but like when you really come down to it,
I got
women
you.
are doing it. Like
So
women are doing it.
I agree with everything you said except for one thing. There are no excuses being given. There are reasons. An excuse absolves somebody of responsibility. A reason explains why something happened. That's the one thing I disagree with. Now, I also would tell you that if you attach a man's financial capability to his leadership, that's perfectly right for you to do. However, you should have figured that out before you committed to that man. Because if you wait until you guys are in a relationship to start treating him as less than because he's not paying all your bills, when it's time to pay less bills, that shows that you either one, didn't communicate what your expectations were, or two, vet that man properly, or three, have the courage to stick to your convictions. Because what a lot of women will do is, and the same thing with men, y'all settle. Y'all will say, well, you know what? Yeah, he can't pay all the bills. That's okay. I can take that now. But you can only take that until there's a disagreement. You can only take that until there's an issue about what you want to do. You can only take that to
So Willie,
to do that you don't want him to do. So if you're trying to, if you do that, again, I'm not even going to shame you for it. Mind you, I'm on the other side of that fence. I think men should pay for all the bills in the household. It's a hill I'll die on, and it's not because me paying all the bills means I can tell you to shut the fuck up. That's not what it's for. That's just how I was raised. And at the same time, a man's earning potential outside the home usually is higher than a woman's anyway. So I like the path of least resistance. I would rather my woman be at home taking care of our children in the household than going to work for another man and having to ask him permission to go do shit. That's weird to me. That's just my personal. But in mass, men can't afford to do that. The average man makes $52,000 a year. The average woman doesn't want a $52,000 lifestyle either. So knowing those two things to be true and can be proven statistically, it's just not something that most men are going to be able to do. So if you decide to disqualify the man that can't, you're aiming at a very, very, very small group of men, which will require you to then just not just worry about what you want. You have to go do what those men, not do. You then have to go be what those men want their women to be. And a lot of women aren't willing to do that.
All right, let's go to
so how do you properly?
Let's go to Keisha Dan Tree. True.
So how do we properly, as women, vet men financially? Like, how do we
ask for a tax return? That shit is easy. That is, and I'm not trying to be funny, but this is just, again, fellas, if you the niggas that struggle is not gonna like this. If you're getting ready to commit to a man, right? And I have a saying, like, if a man can be in your guts, you should be able to be in his pockets. If you're in a relationship with a man and you still don't know what he's capable of financially, you are retarded. Because why would you be considering committing to a man who is an unknown variable somewhere? The same way a man shouldn't commit to you if he didn't know that you've never been a whore before. He should probably find that out. You should find out what he's capable of financially. And it may not just necessarily be the tax return. Look at you saying when y'all go out to eat, is he logging into the bank account, looking? Is he checking shit? Like I'm saying, is his card always getting declined? Like, every now and then Chase will be like, hey, this is a big ass purchase. You sure? Like, send us a text message. But if that shit come back and the waitress slide that shit real soft on the table and walk away and don't make eye contact with nobody, you know what type of guy you're dealing with. Just look at how he lives. Look at the quality of his clothes, the quality of his character. Look at how he talks about money. There are a lot of things that give you an insight into what men have going on financially without you having to say, show me, log into your bank account. But the fastest way, just show me last year's W-2. There's a box on there. It'll show you exactly.
So you don't think, so let me ask you this, with you saying that, you don't think that if I was to say, hey, True, let me see your W-2s. You don't think he'd be like, what the, you know what I mean? Like,
if you do it too early on, yeah. But we're talking about.
What'd you say,
True?
No, I look at you for smile and tell you, hell no, you crazy.
Even if we've been together and we're working towards marriage, you still wouldn't show me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. Like, Willie's my boy, but I'm gonna say this. I don't think that it's honestly fair to spew that perspective, and I'm gonna explain to you why, at least from my band. There's nothing wrong with assessing a man's ability financially. I think the issue is that because women earn money now, they think and take this position like Restoring said, well, you're operating off this authoritative position. Well, I would say the same thing for the female demographic. So you think because you work, now I have to now assess my lifestyle based on what I produce around your habits. And that's the disconnect for me. You got a chance to be 25, maybe 30, or whatever range of level you lived your life. So you want to show up in my life at 28 years old with $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 in student loan debt that you didn't talk to me about prior. You want to buy the car that I probably would have told you couldn't afford. You didn't ask me about that. You're going to get a condo or whatever you do. And then you now want the privilege of my discipline, my grind, my hustle to benefit your individual choices. Chick, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Let me explain to you why I said it, right? I agree with everything you said. This is why I say to do that, because once a woman opens that door, that means that every question you just asked, she has no business getting offended by. And we have the leverage there because now all our cards are on the table. You know, I only made $100,000 last year, right? But now let's talk about these student loans. Let's talk about your spending habits. Let's talk about what your credit card interest is. When you give something, you give one thing, right? One little thing, and you gain so much more. That's why I said to do that, because that now a woman has gone to somebody, asked them a very, very personal and private question with good reason. But what she also can't do is, guess what? She can't say that, hey, I don't want to talk about that now. Or wait, no, why does my money matter? Or why do you care about what my credit cards are? Or why do you care, like, you know what I'm saying? Why do you want to see my credit report? That's why I said to do that for guys. And also it disqualifies the men who know they have something to hide. The only men who don't understand what I just said, which is, you know, the strategy and why I did it, are the men who really don't make any money. Because I know you understand the strategy of why I said it. So I know you get that. But then again, the same time, true, we make a lot of money. So it's not an issue for us. This isn't something that guys who make a lot of money would even ever have to do. It would never get there. A woman dating you would never think that better. I use to make it a personal example. If Restoring the Village and you had been dating for a year, she would never have to question how much you made. Your lifestyle shows it. The way you take care of yourself shows it. The way you navigate, the way that the conversation you have about money, because they come up, would show that you are doing well. Now, take a regular nigga. He's not going to be able to move that way. And you remember, I'm not talking about regular dudes. I'm just talking about the dudes that they actually want to date. Because the dudes that they have to do this shit for, they don't make it that far no way. They just had their babies.
But the challenge, though, and this is just my perspective, the majority of women, again, having jobs, because most of y'all have jobs, think that they qualify to have this conversation. Just like you said, there's a bracket of men who this is not an issue for. If you are a woman with your eyes open and he's been able to, get your attention, hang around you 6 months plus, I would assume based on patterns and consistency, the way he moves to the earth, you can probably assess. You probably have been to his place or a couple of them, seen a car or two, whatever. So it's kind of safe to assume he may be doing all right in life. My issue is again, since the gate has been open and women are now earning money, now they get to think they get to sit at the table with men and assess his manhood based on their little earning potential. I take that personally offensive. Sweetie, you'll never be a man, regardless of if you have a job or not. I'll run circles around you with one hand tied behind my back in most cases. So I think that there's this energy that exists because girls really do think
100%
they have a job,
100%.
that they at the table with men. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So I'm saying for the mass of men and not the exceptional men, I'm saying men in general. As a young lady, you would be best suited if you're trying to actually gain something from that man. You have a job, he has a job, or however y'all earn your money. Provide value. You shouldn't be asking that man, what can you do for me? What can we do for each other? Because you want something from him too. And women don't do that enough. And that's my issue with it. And
I agree with that, champ. And I think what I should have said was, and I think what you just pointed out was that a lot of women ask or care about these things from a place of what can you do for me? And not from an honest place of I just need to know. Like I want so that way I can plan. That makes sense. Now, if a woman is coming to you saying, well, will you be able to afford to take me on 6 vacations a year, pay my car note, upgrade my car every 2 years, make sure I have every new iPhone, make sure you can spend $1,500 on these hair helmets I love to wear, and support my Sephora trips, and I can eat lunch at Erewhon all the time? Obviously not. But I didn't think that I had to explain that because I didn't have to explain it to you, but I didn't think I needed to make the overarching point was that like if a woman and you guys are in a relationship already, you've been dating for a year or so, you guys are locked in and planning that next step. So all those exploratory conversations should have been having. And at the same time,
So
if
for
you
me, I
willing,
think I
if you
was
willing to ask
asking
the nigga for
Willie.
his the same way you ask for his my chart before you fuck him, when it's time for you to combine with him and combine households, I don't think sharing a tax return is a big ask.
So I think I was asking too. Y'all know I always like to relate it to my experiences.
Mhm.
And when you said that, it made me think of, obviously when I was married. And I can honestly say I never asked that question because, like you said, I looked at him with the assumption, you know what I mean, that his car was right, his look was right, his everything was right, but then as time went on, the closer we got to the engagement than me getting married, I'm like, bro, where's your money? Like, I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, where's your money? Like, where's you doing? You leave out this house every day, flipping houses, flipping properties, all that good stuff. Where's the help? And I'm only speaking for myself. Where's the help? Where's the money? Help, please, nigga, please. That's how I wound up being.
I mean, to piggyback off what she was saying, I just think that this conversation could potentially be only one-sided because, the male equivalence of that is men judge women off their aesthetic. So there's no way of hiding that. They will approach you if they find you aesthetically pleasing, whether it's your, facial features or your body or whatever it is, versus women, they look at men for their, ability to provide security and finances. Let's be real. That's not something that can be judged for the most part surface level. So the vetting process for women does require more effort from both parties to be able to distinguish whether they're compatible or not versus male vetting process goes simply based off of surface level for the most part.
I don't
hold on a moment. I think we got to twist it there. So no, men absolutely need to know your history for one, right? Our vetting process, we need to know what the Carfax look like. We need to know if your transmission slipping. We need to know if you got 10 owners and 300,000 miles. That's important too. We need to know what type of background that you came from. There's so many other things that we need to know what type of family you have, right? What is the relationship like with your father? There's a lot of vetting that we have to do. I'm not going to say
I didn't mean vetting as far as like I'm talking about like initial reaching out to somebody and actually potentially looking to, pursue them.
Well, that's because
every
time a man reaches out to a woman, he has his dick in his hand. That's why. That's not uncommon. Like no man has ever talked to you because he thought you had a bubbly personality when he didn't know you from Adam. It's because he found you physically attractive, and then he has to go figure out and what else is there. But when you say that we have to vet, not trying to be funny, you say y'all can't hide it. Have you never seen a Sephora? Like the line from that is wrapped down the block. Y'all spray paint your face more than home painters do. So you can definitely hide who you are aesthetically. And then what's even worse is when a man asks to see you without your makeup, it's offensive. When a man asks you what your weight is, we're not supposed to. When we ask you how old you are, that's not gentlemanly. So you guys don't necessarily just hide behind the makeup and the hair helmets and all that other shit, the body shapers, the contouring, you know what I'm saying, the heels, the red lipstick, the push-up bras, all of those things. Y'all put on more. Y'all hide like a nigga in a Tyler Perry movie. Like you definitely. So don't say that it's easy for us because most dudes out here now can't tell the difference between some of these niggas that are dressing like women because of makeup. Thanks to all of y'all for the past 20 years.
Right. And I was going to say something else about the finances. In reality, if you're going to be living in the same household, I think that it makes sense for everyone to disclose everything, right? If you're going to get into a relationship where you're serious with somebody, unless the dynamic of your relationship is going to be separate, because I mean that can also work if you're going to live that way. If you're going to have separate dwellings and you're not really worried about combining your finances, then okay. But men need to know if that woman is a liability, and women should know if that man is going to be able to take care of what type of a lifestyle. If you're going to be living together, everything, your debt should be on the table, your income should be on the table, your spending habits. We need to know what you think is cool. if we don't understand that, then yeah, it's not going to work. But all of that should be on the table. By the time you decide that you want to get serious about someone, before you go any further, everything should be on the table.
Miss Matt, can I ask you a question? Because you've been quiet. I want to pick your brain for a second.
Sure.
How many photo editing apps have you used in your life or are you aware of? Mind you, this is me asking you because women take significantly more pictures than we do.
I mean, there's probably countless at this point.
Right.
I try to stay away from filters personally. My viewpoint is, for my own personal, I don't usually wear makeup. I do like it for certain occasions.
Fair.
I currently have my natural hair, so I do want to see more of what we actually look like. I feel like that's missing with the AI treatments, the filters. And I do, my personal viewpoint is I feel a little sad when I actually see very beautiful women out and about put the filter on to take a picture. And I'm like, wow, like it bothers me. So
second question.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, or just in your scrolling, do you see more plastic surgeons catering to men or women?
Women.
So that's how y'all hide, because every social media app has filters. They have something called a skinny waist filter, a skinny face filter, a increased bust filter. They don't have those things from the things that women value in men. They're not apps out here where dudes can go put a filter on their negative bank account balance. They don't have filters out here where men can go AI a video of them saving their girlfriend from wolves or some shit. Like, y'all literally, the ways you guys hide is not only accepted by men, it's sometimes encouraged. I'm a guy that doesn't have an issue with saying plastic surgery. If you can't grow it, sew it. If God didn't grant it, implant it. As long as you have a positive body image, I'm fine. But y'all definitely do hide. And what's crazy is like when y'all say that you don't, you guys somehow forget these things. Snapchat, filter central. CapCut, filter central. Facetune, filter central. And guess who the number one users of those apps are? Women. A lot of women can't even leave the house without makeup. Miss Mac says she doesn't wear it. And her aesthetic shows that. But if you look on these panels, we have women who come on here that look like it takes them 4 or 5 hours to get out of bed to look like the character they want to see. And that's what a lot of guys are out here having to sort through, is these women. Like the first dude like who makes an app for the Apple glasses, that's like the anti-cake face filter, is going to be a billionaire. Because niggas are going to download it so we can see what y'all really look like before the filters, before the surgery, before the tummy tuck, before the titties, before the BBL, and before you had your buccal fat removed out of your face. Like, so y'all get to hide. It's buccal fat. Trust me, if you were a dude and used to be a girl, you'd get it. But again, it's one of those things where like y'all absolutely do hide and it's shameful for. Men can't go get plastic surgery. You know how much hell they gave Drake for going to go get his abs done? Or y'all make fun of niggas for wearing man units as if you guys don't stitch whole helmets of hair on your head on a daily basis. But if a dude has a bald spot and he sprays some chopped up hair in his bald spot to fill it in, he gets roasted, not just by y'all, but by us. Or if a dude wears one of those, what's those things y'all wear? The trainer, what's shit called?
Bodysuits.
Yes, bodysuits and shit to make it look like he got pecs and abs. As soon as you hug that nigga and you feel a shit, you own his ass. But when we have to hug y'all and y'all got them bulletproof ones with the titanium clips and shit in them, we're not even supposed to say nothing. Like, so that, again, let's please not pretend like women don't get to hide and be deceptive in their aesthetic.
I got a question.
I think there's the hiding is not really that great if we're being honest, because you can, like, if you're out and about, you know when a woman's wearing makeup to some extent, when there's a hair piece. So it's not like we're hiding. It's like, no, you can
It's
do
enhancing.
that.
It's enhancing. It's not hiding. It's definitely
And then
enhancing.
when a man actually is interested,
Just like
at some
when
point,
men
he
wear,
sees
like-
her in a more relaxed state at some point. You know what I'm saying? When y'all just
Absolutely.
doing something casual, you end up seeing what she really
Yeah.
looks like at some point. If you get to take the time to get to know her.
You would be
It's the
surprised
same
how
as like
many-
when men wear like fake designer stuff to look like they have money. It's
So
the same thing.
the reason why I didn't say that is because women do that, if not more.
I understand, but I'm saying as far as giving off the impression that
No, I
he's
get
a
it,
man of,
but that's why I left that
has
out,
money.
because not trying to be funny. I know a bunch of bitches with Chanel purses that live in 1-bedroom apartments that are 2 months behind on rent. But Miss Mac, to your point, you would be surprised how many men can't tell when a woman's wearing a wig, unless that screen door part looks like uncooked bacon, or they can tell like their forehead and scalp part don't match. Most dudes don't even know to look at that. Like when I tell you that most of these niggas can't even pick out like a transformer from a pretty girl now because makeup has gotten so far, it's almost like all of these girls are doing like movie quality makeup before they leave the house, and that includes the ones that used to have penises.
So I got a question for restoring, because you said something that stood out, at least to me. I don't know if the fellas caught it. You said you get, as a man, you get to see what we look like. So we as women need to know, I guess, essentially what you make. Are you making that equivalent or?
Oh, no. I'm saying women, when they go through that, when they look for a partner or a spouse, aside from, the other priorities that she might have, one of them is usually, his ability to provide security and, financially. And men, their top priorities is the aesthetic. Are they, attracted to, their potential partner?
Okay, maybe it was the way I heard it. It seemed like there was a little bit of energy behind the fact that
No,
like, when you
I wasn't equating the two. No. I'm saying the male equivalents, like that's the priority on their list for women for the most part. One of the most common priorities when they are looking for a partner is, his ability to financially and, physically provide for her security or whatever that looks like.
Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to comment really quick on the beauty part. It's not a cover up, it's to enhance, like, enhancing your beauty. So, and then do get plastic surgery. They just don't tell y'all.
That's not what I said. But Bo, this is a great example, right? Because remember when I said y'all like to make up words, right? Or misuse words like hyper independent. You're not enhancing anything. The only thing you're enhancing is your self-confidence by covering up your imperfections. That's what it's called make up. You're making up for something. And then two, if we didn't argue that men don't go get plastic surgery, the point that I made was that it is not accepted to. Y'all know if you found out that dude that you were dating got ab implants or chesticle implants, or he went and got the height lengthening procedure, you would feel like he cheated. And maybe 10, 15 years from now, it'll be accepted. But in July 30th, 2026, we both make fun of people who do that. We talked about niggas that can't even wear man units. And not trying to be funny, a lot of y'all are the reason why so many niggas are bald. So I would hope that y'all would be more kind to these dudes who losing their hair.
No, it's your mother's fault that you're bald.
No
Male
shit,
pattern baldness comes from your maternal side,
1,000,000,000% accurate. But you know what else what triggers it though? High cortisol levels and the DHT derivative that comes from it. And guess who raises a man's cortisol faster than his diet will?
Your mama.
Now, if niggas is fucking their mama, that's some West Virginia shit. We ain't got to get into that. But again, to prove my point, y'all don't understand. Y'all swear men all want a bunch of women. There's a large group of us that feel like y'all are annoying as fucking large groups. We just want one. We just want the one that we can learn, not master as far as y'all think is, master servant shit. We can master her, be an expert on her. And the reason why is because, again, I don't want to risk. I already got a big scar on my head from an accident. I don't want to risk being stressed out by a girl and her triggering the male pattern baldness that I got from my mom that has a full head of hair. I don't want her triggering that shit in me. So I just want one good one. I got a good woman. She does what I need, how I need, why I need it. And I don't have to worry about that. But if you didn't know True, you think True might have been stressed the fuck out behind one of y'all. Because I've never seen True with even stubble on his hair. You know how high his stress level has to be for his hair not to even try to grow?
He keeps it nice and clean.
This nigga's had a smooth baldy since I've known him. You've never seen True need an edge up or he ain't got a, you get it. You've never seen True not have him saying his Mr. Clean going. And if you didn't know him, you would think because women stressing his ass out.
No, he did it. Make sure he look good.
I do want to make the point. I hear when people say enhance. I understand. I think, makeup is. I know this is not about that, but makeup is used to cover up and enhance. So, you put on mascara, but then what do? We get lip fillers, right? And then we get the
cheek fillers.
What is it? The cheek filler. Yeah, the cheek filler. So now your cheeks are more prominent.
Botox
you get the
stuff.
contouring. Yeah. You get the Botox, and then a lot of times guys don't even know that until like if they're dating on like social media through the app and stuff like that. They're not even going to know that the woman has all this makeup on and doesn't look normal until they I guess they wake up the next day. But like there's so many filters. Snapchat is classic for that. I have a friend who literally she will not take a picture without a filter.
And your friend
that's
is
a
ugly.
lot.
I think a
That's
lot of
women.
women do
You say
that.
she's ugly?
Yeah.
No, she's not.
Jay, I think
No, I mean,
a
I'm
lot
sorry.
of
She's
women.
ugly to the man that she wants.
No, well, no, she's not ugly. What I think it's just that sometimes women have a hard time with normal aging, certain things, whether it's like crow's feet or things like that. And she wants that smooth, flawless skin. But I'm like, you can still tell that it's still a filter. But I'm just saying, I think a lot of times women think that a man wants someone who's so flawless because this is what they look at. So now they want to cover up or make sure they show their best self. And you guys don't really do much to your face.
That's
You
Well,
don't
I
really.
mean, I would
I
say
think a
a
lot of
beard is a
times.
man's like male enhancement, to be honest with you, because a lot
how
of
that's
men without their
biological.
beards, I understand, but I'm saying a lot of men without beards do look extremely different.
Well,
To
that was
be
like
fair.
saying women without titties and ass, if you just had a flat chest, would be the same. You can't compare makeup to
No,
a beard.
I'm gonna. It does change your facial features for
Well,
men. It does for the
but
most part.
so would not. But again, it's something that happens naturally. Like I just started getting my beard when I was 40, so my beard is 2 years old. So I didn't have this shit until then. But you comparing a beard to makeup, like
I'm
that's
not. I'm just saying it
comparing-
enhances. It does enhance. Like when men
it's a
get
natural
lineups, it does.
enhancement though. Kind of like
I
how
understand that.
childbirth is a natural enhancement for some women. Some women turns into high C packs. Some of y'all it gives y'all hips and titties. Like it just depends on how it lands. But you realize that like there are women running around here getting salmon sperm injected into their faces due to its high protein and collagen content. Do you know how insecure a scientist had to be? His wife had to be for him to say, you know what? Let me go get some salmon jizz and shoot it in her face to see if it makes her look better. Give me the equivalent of men doing that.
But it's the insecurity because society plays and y'all like looks. We like stability. So that's why y'all get your money up and we do things to make us look more enticing or enhancing. And what you were saying about your friend with the filters, like I try not to use a lot of filters, even though I nibble and dabble with the like natural ones sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. But some of us is just not photogenic, shall I say. So we could be beautiful in real life, face to face, but when we take photos, it's like before I used to do that, when I meet people in person, their first response is like, "Oh, you look more beautiful than online." I'm like, "What did that mean?" So some people just not photogenic. So we like to use little things that kind of enhance it. So, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
So
The fact
Paris,
that they
can
have
I,
Yeah, I
they have
think we got that wrong there
So
because
how can it be?
I wanted to
women
ask a
absolutely
question.
women absolutely do go by looks. That's already been proven now. Y'all can't lie about it anymore. It's just that, like Willie said, it's unacceptable for men to make those enhancements, right? It's embarrassing. And if we are caught with anything fictitious, then we will be ridiculed by men and women alike. But women have absolutely been concentrating on looks. That's why there's a thing called handsome privilege. That's why some men can get away with doing whatever it is that they want to do and go ahead and jade all these women because handsome men, tall men, good looking men get to do what they want to do.
You know how much of an oxymoron it is to say natural filter? Like, do you not trying? This is just me thinking logically. Do you know
I
how
was just about to say that.
how
I've
fucked
been
up your face
waiting
has
to
to be
say that.
for
That's
a filter to make you look natural? That's like the baseline. So you so far below the average that you got to put a filter on to look that's crazy. Like that.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No,
Because
that
there's
there's
all
actually
different
I looked it up.
types.
There's a natural filter on it's really it's
Oh,
called
so I
natural
just
filter.
said that. I didn't know it was a thing.
It's a thing.
But there's all different types of filters. So there's filters that give you eyelashes. There's filters that give you blush or makeup or lipstick. Like, so I will use the filter that's just to like smoothen out your skin look or something like that. It's not like all the extra, glam to make you look like, I don't know, like you just took a photo shoot or something and got all made up. Like I'll use the one that's like the bare minimum. But yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
A lot of y'all use titties as a filter anyway. Like that's y'all's number one filter, especially on social media.
Now
What
wait.
is that?
Really?
Now wait. Okay. Slow
Who
down,
got-
low down.
yeah,
What's
I
going
never heard
on?
of that
What?
now.
Explain.
Slow down, low down.
I mean, y'all, so I'll tell you what we can do. If
Oh, you mean like
if we all want to pretend like there's not a trending sound that says sometimes the picture is titties right now. Sometimes if that's what we want to do, JR, we should just look at some of our social medias and see how prevalent people's titties and asses are in their pictures. Like y'all use those as makeup too, as bait, as a
You know what? Hold on. You're not wrong. Cause here's the thing. Yeah, well, anybody who's seen my social media knows my chest is not the focus of my social media at all whatsoever. However, I did record a couple of videos in my car where I had to start zooming in so I could cut it. But I recorded a couple of those videos. When I tell you an influx of men, I said, oh, and it wasn't what I was saying. Because I guarantee you, if they were listening to what I was saying, they would be like, hell nah, this bitch a feminist. And then they would have just taken their ass on. I know that they weren't listening to me because all they saw was down here. So I had to start zooming in. So he's not wrong. Women know what type of attention that gets them. And I didn't realize that because I don't normally do it. So, all right, okay. Because a part of me being the captain of the heavy chested community, I took offense to it at first, but
I did
I'm
too.
cool.
I almost did, but I don't care what nobody say. But it be hard. Like you said, when you just trying to shoot regular content, do you go back and look at it? And yeah, it was showing a little more Cleveland than I was expecting it to do. But now I got this video and I need to put something out. So
I
either you
can't
gonna
take no
crop it with
picture.
that.
And
Huh?
no, I'm just saying I can't take no video. I'm like, yo, I can't for a small person, you know what I mean? So I can't take a video where my chest will not be there. You gonna see him. I would have to like cover up literally and take a picture. That would be the only way. That'd be the only way.
Right. So it's a
I'd be
hard
like, yo,
life when
I'll
you
be
got
hitting them
yeah, but I
people.
think it's more so he's referring to like, cleavage, like heavy out there. Like you can tell when somebody, has a chest, but like when it's out there, like
Y'all use titties the same way niggas use money and money spreads for attention. Like let's just call it what the fuck it is. You knew that your titties were huge before you turned that fucking camera on. You also knew that niggas love huge titties before you turn that camera on. You knew that niggas like huge titties when you press post. You knew that niggas like huge titties when you bought the shirt that has your titties out. You knew that niggas like huge titties when you only button up 3 of the fucking 30 buttons on your shirt. Y'all know what y'all are doing. Like, and mind you, as a dude who also appreciates titties, I'm not complaining, but let's just not pretend like that's not what you're doing. And this is also how, just to prove it, big girls do it, ugly girls do it too. You know why? Because with the big girls, all they got. Sometimes with ugly girls, that's all they got. So they're like, you know what? I may be hit, but these titties big. Like, and then they post a picture that shows more titty and less face. And if you just, again, go look at your timeline and find all your big titty friends. Y'all have an ugly one. I don't give a fuck if you say you don't, you're just lying. Y'all have a big titty friend that men don't find attractive. Go look at all of her pictures. Any picture that she has is going to have her titties in it because they got to offset her face. With the big girl, any picture she has is going to have her like trying to cover her stomach a little bit with it from the top down angle. So you see all the 36 inches of cleavage and a little bit, and only one of her chins. Like, if I'm lying, I'm fucking dying. Just go look at it right now. It won't take you 3 minutes to find 30 of them. And then y'all cute motherfuckers, y'all just try to y'all greedy. Like, just show your face. If you don't have to wear makeup, keep your titties out the picture and we'll listen to what you're saying. But if you're cute and you think you got a message with titties out, I promise you, we hear every 5th word.
I'm about to go look at my pictures. I'm like, do I have titties?
Who want to read these
All
off?
right,
You got it,
all
Willie?
right. I can't.
I know I do. I was called out about it, but I didn't do it intentionally.
Hold up.
But
We about to go with
yeah,
the super
but I
chats.
only got like 3
You want
videos.
me to read it?
Hey,
You
Willie,
want
you
me to read it,
got it?
Craig?
Yeah. Yeah,
The
appreciate it.
Dopest Hour podcast has been a member for 4 months. What's good, people? 3 exclamation points. Marcus Evans 406 spent, a 5-piece. Hello to the good people on the panel. Question for the brothers: how are family dynamics today? I don't know. Mine are fucking amazing. Marcus Evans 406 with the $2 dono. All facts, brother Willie. A bunch of black ass hand clap emojis. Marcus Evans 406. And a side note, Willie, feminism came from white supremacy. Yes, Sam. Yeah, he's not wrong there. Official Mama G. She been here for 16 years and just now became a YouTube member.
Man,
We
try
appreciate
giving a
everybody
woman the
who.
life.
I was just gonna say we appreciate everyone who donated to the chat. Let's go.
A lot of men tried giving a woman the life that she never had, and then ended up figuring out exactly why she never had it. You see, a lot of men believe love can fix everything, so they meet a woman who's struggling financially, emotionally, or personally, and then they think, yo, if I love her enough, she'll become a different person. So they pay her bills, they buy her a car, they give her a home, they introduce her to a better life, and then something strange always seems to happen. Instead of becoming grateful, she becomes entitled. Instead of respecting the sacrifice, she starts expecting more. The man thought he was changing her life, but what he didn't realize was he was removing the consequences that were really supposed to change her. You see, character doesn't change because somebody rescues you. It changes because you finally take responsibility. If someone has spent years making poor choices, don't assume that your love will erase those habits. A new environment doesn't automatically create a new mindset. Listen, many men don't lose because they love the wrong woman. They lose because they ignored the patterns that were there in the first place. So before you go invest your time, your money, your future in someone, I beg or ask yourself, are you building a future with a responsible partner? Or are you just trying to rescue someone from the consequences of their own decisions? Love should be shared, not used as a rehabilitation program, bro.
Can I go?
Any initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, shit, that's just duh. That's a lot of women think niggas ghost them after like we fuck, and it's not because we just wanted to fuck. It's that we found out that what you require to keep fucking you is not worth it. Like a lot of times we get to know you, and you're like, you know what, man, this bitch is annoying. But you know what? She has kids by 2 niggas that work at the post office, and she told me I got to make $1 million a month to date her. Like once we get to know you, we find out like what's that saying? The juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
You had something?
Yeah, you mind if I pander a little bit? Is that okay?
No, not after. Wait, nope, not after me, nigga. Let one of these girls talk first, and then you go. You're not gonna put me in the same pandering clip you finna get. Fuck that.
I go ahead. Somebody jump in. I go after you.
I want to go back into the title of the law today. It's like the fear. It seems like it's less calculated at times. Some men, I guess, have that calculation process, but it seems like there's more fear of like, I gave to the wrong woman already, and now I'm like, I even if you kind of look okay, I won't even take the time to figure out if you are okay for real. So I think that's more so what it seems to be happening than anything, versus like this man trying to change this woman and she just screws him over.
Makes sense to me.
I think that.
All right. So yeah, it's something to what he said, but I think the biggest issue is like leadership. Like you with a woman who don't follow your lead, you with a woman who don't respect you, and all these type of things. So yeah, you can't give her everything. I think that if you with a woman who respects you, if you with a woman who understands that you have boundaries and acknowledges those, you can give her the world. But yeah, you can't give a world to a leech to a leech. Hell no. But that's your problem. You got with a woman who was a leech. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that some men believe that providing financially, paying bills, buying cars, and gifting is enough, per se, in sustaining a relationship. And maybe for some women that is, but I think that material provision alone can't replace emotional connections, communication, respect, or mutual appreciation. So that's why that guy feel like I can do all this, but I don't feel appreciated because you led with what you had. So you mad at me. That's just like they say when women be dressed up like, to Willie's point, a certain provocative type way, and then be like, why you just want me for my body? Or you know what I'm saying? All they IG just reflects, I don't want to say pornography, but you know what I'm saying? So I think on the other side of that, if those sacrifices that men do when it comes to providing and with women providing that emotional connection, communication, respect, if it was both appreciated on both sides, I think that it'll be a little better. That's all.
But you know what? I've heard a lot from different relations and situations of women in this situation not being appreciative. And instead they feel a sense of entitlement. Like, as a man, you're supposed to provide. That's what you're supposed to do. So to show any extra gratitude or appreciation for what, when that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's just like, a kid saying they got a good grade. So okay, supposed to. So and I've heard that a lot of times that men feel unappreciated in those situations when they are doing a lot to be able to provide and not be appreciated. So I can see that too, without them
I
having to
think
do anything wrong.
that goes down to the vetting process. You chose the wrong woman. Well, real quick, I don't think that getting good grades is necessarily something that somebody has to, but we'll talk about that another time. But as far as the you chose the wrong woman, like you ain't about to tell me that these traits just popped up. What Shorty is just like, nah, you supposed to be dropping a bag on me. You supposed to be doing this. You supposed to be doing all that, this, that, and the third. You ain't gonna tell me them traits just popped up with her. She been thought that about the niggas that she was with and all the tricks that she was dealing with before you, And also, it is a part of you being a leader is giving her that perspective, letting her know, these type of things. I remember a long time ago, my girl thought that she was supposed to respect her dad more than me. You're not my dad. I'm not your dad. Okay. We had a conversation. Now she's like, oh shit, no, I respect you more than my dad. Because I gave her perspective. You're not going to call your dad at 4 a.m. in the morning, you get hit by a car. You're going to call me. He got his own wife. Your dad don't pay your bills right now. I take care of you. This, that, I laid it all out for her. And she like, no, you're right. So I gave her that perspective of, no, you shouldn't be respecting your father more than me. I appreciate everything that he's ever did for you. But, this is my role now.
All right. So, but for the actual video, I think the point is that like dudes meet women and we understand what your requirements are because you've communicated them to us. And then as we get to know you, we realize why you've never had them, why you've never had a guy who made a bunch of money, why you never had a guy who was a good communicator, why you never had whatever it is that you're saying that you want. Because a lot of people feel like, or in dating, a lot of women feel as if them wanting something is the only work that needs to be done because they're entitled to it and they should just have it because they said they want it and they feel like they deserve it. That's what the guy in the video is talking about. Like one of the things that I've learned is like for a woman, you never want to be the second hoe that a man falls in love with because you're not going to get over on him. The first one's going to get all the good shit out of him. She's going to get the time, the commitment, the trips, the shopping. Like she's going to get everything. But if you're the second hoe he falls in love with, he's going to treat you accordingly. And I think that guy proves that with this video. Getting with women and then finding out what they say they want and you realize they don't have it. It's the same thing like with niggas. We have this thing that when we get with a woman, we know it's over for her when we understand why the last nigga left. Like when we can see why the niggas that she's been with have only been fucking on her for 10 years, and she's been dating for 10 years and not had a relationship. Once we understand that point, we just become the next nigga to keep doing the same thing. And that's what he's talking about. Like sometimes we have to do the work to get what we deserve. And literally, you deserve everything you have in life right now is what you deserve. If you deserve more, you do more and you get it. Because copyright has no success or no patent on it. So if you want a peaceful, healthy relationship, then do the work to deserve one.
I don't disagree.
Go ahead, Mac.
Mine agreed. Somebody clip that shit now.
Go ahead, Mac.
I'm intrigued.
Yo, look at True. I see the cut. I see you, man. You over there looking like fucking the guy on who was grinding everybody up at the table when he was like, all right, I know everybody's secrets. What who we talking about?
Miss Mac, we talking about Mike.
Yeah, that nigga over there looking like
oh, is it funny, Marcus? Yeah, tell him why Terry had to give you a shot.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
but
I see the cut.
So when I
I
was
wanna
listening,
know.
when,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, when I was listening to the clip, one thing I wrote down is it love? That sounded more like I went and purchased the puppy and I'm going to train the puppy and do all the things for the puppy to make sure the puppy's okay. Because love, I don't feel like it's just giving someone everything they want and just letting them frolic along. I feel like love is what your parents gave to you in some manners. It's like I give you, well, in a healthy rapport, shall we say, in balanced rapport, I give you the good and the bad of you. I tell you when you slip in. I tell you when you're doing well. So that what he described doesn't sound like love to me personally. So that's what my question was. Is that love what he's even describing?
You said adopting a puppy. You need to realize that's how a lot of men date. That's equivalent to what they're doing. That's literally the equivalent of what they're doing, but with a human that they can't take back to the SPCA. Like that's,
we got. Oh, yes, they can. Yes, they can. That's why people leave each other, divorce each other, all the things.
Well, that's not taking them back. That's just setting them free. But I get you. I get your point, though.
We got some new ladies on the. Oh, go ahead, Bo. No, go ahead, Bo. Sorry.
Listening to that man, I'm just like taking a woman and giving her better, basically, like you eventually see why she never had better. While you're dating her, shouldn't you have seen why she never had better? I'm just like, well, because any man who's dating a woman that doesn't have as much as him, you should be trying to see how she folds into your life. Is she leeching off you? Is she just wanting things? Like you can see those types of things. You don't buy her a car and she hadn't already shown you that she was finna use you. A lot of these guys don't, like, they choose not to see it. Like they're choosing to look past their problematic behavior. And then once they get in a relationship or have, like, not even in a relationship, have a baby, get married, like somehow attach themselves long term to this person. Somehow, ta-da, oh, she's problematic. No, nigga, she was problematic a long time ago. And I can guarantee you, I know that that's true because I have guy friends. And I be telling them, don't do it. Leave that girl alone because she don't like you. All day long. They're like, no, she's okay. You just don't understand her. And then you done had 2 babies by her. She done left your babies in the apartment over the weekend while she out partying. And now you got full custody and got to raise 2 whole children.
This sounds oddly specific.
I'm just saying, like, I see the things like before the babies came, wrecked car, never buying anything for the household, always taking, hey, can I have, can you do, can you blah, blah, blah. If the lady wasn't doing it before, she's not going to do it after. And this is oddly like parallel to the guys when they're telling women to pick better. My nigga, like, we're literally listening to a man not being able to pick better. And so,
they're both wrong. You're right.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm saying like and it happens for both of us. That's why I don't like when men do the pick better. I'm like, no, y'all baby mamas. You should have picked better, my nigga. And I don't fault men for that because we're all human and we all have to live and learn. So like whatever, I'm cool. Like all of y'all, even the Blue Chew crew in the comments, they have fallen victim to women like that. And so I don't fault them for that because they're human. They are stupid, but they're still human. And I respect them for that.
So Bo, I could definitely say there's some credence to what you're saying here. Shit, back in the day, I made the same mistake, but I don't know if we want to villainize them for it, right? I don't know if we want to call them stupid, maybe naive, maybe ignorant, right? But
no, they're stupid. You should read the comments. They're dumb.
No, not them. I'm talking about the men who this happened to, because you refer to them as stupid.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Blue Chew crew in the comments. No, men in general are not stupid. I'm talking about just specifically the stupid people in the comments.
Wait, okay. Who's the Blue
Chew?
So
even with that, yeah.
No, I mean saying because I got a link in my bio if y'all need some. I'm just saying. Like,
you have a clientele in the comments. They have dad guts and they phalluses don't work. So you have a big clientele base in the comments. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, for a lot of men, I don't think they understand in the beginning. You don't know. If no one teaches you, right? Not all of our parents took the time to sit there and give us any conversation. There's no such thing as the birds and the bees. You just go out there and figure it out. And if that's not, if your household is more wholesome, you run out in the street, you run into a buzzsaw, and you don't know what the hell is going on. So you're going above your head a few times. You're going to learn a lot of lessons the hard way, right? Us as men, we're supposed to get better at it, but that first one is going to catch you slipping, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And there's a fine line between giving someone the benefit of the doubt and just being foolish for them. But a lot of times you want to believe in people. You want to believe that they can get better. And sometimes some women are equipped to really make you feel like that's what they want to do.
Like, look at the men who are like smooth talkers, right? You know what the female equivalent that is the woman that is the first time that man experiences like that gorilla grip. Like, that's what keeps a lot of niggas looking past a lot of shit because it's the first time they've had it. They've been dealing with some hot dogs in hallways for the majority of their life. And then they finally get somebody who does Kegels, can massage his shit with her shit, and they lose their fucking mind. So to them, the fact that she got 9 kids, she stabbed 2 niggas, and that she might have sold a little bit of pussy back in the day, but she's a good girl now. All of that makes sense because he's been inside her viscous innards recently.
I ain't gonna let you do that, Willie.
You can't stop.
I ain't gonna let you do that, Willie. We not about to let these we not about to have these every girl think they pussy good on this entire fucking panel.
You know, I don't leave that open. No woman will ever, like, I know for a fact that we don't have a lot of that going around because there's too many single women up here. So like, let's not. You don't have to worry.
But you know that every single woman gonna think they the one with the gorilla grip.
Every woman thinks her pussy is good just because niggas try to get into it. Like, niggas will fuck anything. So like, that's the stupid ass thought to have. So nobody's gonna think that when I'm talking. Like, I'm not gonna say this shit all nice and cool like you would. I'm just gonna be like, bitch, you think everybody pussy's supposed to be good. You supposed to think that. Like, all right. Because we all know that women aren't realistic. All niggas don't think their dicks are big. You know why? Because they get told they're not. Who tells women their pussy is trash?
Nobody.
No, if it is, it's another woman telling them. Niggas is not telling them because niggas are still trying to fuck. And niggas still fuck trash pussy on a regular basis. Like, if you need to give me examples, I can give you several that have children.
Ain't nobody on this panel ever been told they pussy was trash.
I don't know.
We gonna get back on topic real quick.
That's none of my business.
Go ahead, Mr. on the village.
But you should. Because I've had guy friends be like, I don't know how to tell her. What?
I'm not trying to be funny, Bo, but that's the worst advice you've ever given a man in his fucking life.
I tell men when they
you know how you tell a woman her pussy is trash, you stop trying to fuck.
No, well, you
Hmm.
should tell her
Go
because
ahead,
she
go
need
ahead,
to
Restore in the
know.
Village.
I didn't have anything to say. I'm
Uh,
just listening.
you don't.
I actually want to ask you something.
So I can be all that and more. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, True.
No, this is to actually maybe assist with what Bo was saying, her commentary. Because you're new to this panel. I often say women don't date, they participate. So what do you personally contribute to the dating experience? What are you required to do?
I'm going to be honest with you. For religious purposes, I don't date. I'm Muslim, so we date to marry. I don't like casually date or casually engage in like physical intimacy or anything.
Okay, respect. Okay. I'll take it from a different approach. The people you observe outside of your practicing religion, if you were to perceive what women are required to do in the dating market, what would that look like in your mind?
I mean, from what I hear for the most part, I guess if a man is spending money on you to take you out on a date, he's expecting something in return. Physically, again, I can't really relate, so I don't want to give a biased opinion because it's not something that I can really relate to, but it's something that I hear a lot of women complain about, is that men are expecting like to put out bare minimum. In my opinion, from what I hear, it sounds like a lot of group hurt, the same way a lot of women group hurt. Men come in when they are asking women out with expectations, and if she's not willing to, I guess, do what is expected, then it turns into this whole, well, you expect me to spend money on you, or you expect me to spend $300 on a date, and I don't even know if it's going to go anywhere, instead of just enjoying the experience for whatever it is. But again,
Okay. I like what the last part you said, and then I kind of tie it back to what Bo was saying, because I guess Bo in betting better, and
True.
I think
True. We
spaces like
we
this
missed a little
exist.
bit of that.
True, you breaking up a little
We
bit.
missed a little bit. You broke up a little bit.
Am I back? Am I back?
I think you back. You back. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying that the last part of what she said, I like, because there's still an expectation of what we are supposed to do, right? And Bo was alluding to the fact that men need to vet better. That's kind of what I got from what she was saying. And I don't think that women still to this day, and maybe it'll happen sooner, hopefully, rather than later, men have not carried an energy of knowing what is supposed to be expected while dealing with women. They're still operating under the program. And the program is, I'm supposed to do all the heavy lifting, make her feel pretty, desired, all of these things. But I think it's very new for men to hear, you're supposed to expect something from her as well. You're supposed to be treated, you say this, Bo, you're supposed to be treated human. I've heard you say that several times in this panel. Men don't believe that in mass. They've never experienced it. They don't know what it's like to be treated good. Only very few men know what it's like to be treated good. Now you can tell because of the energy of how they stand firm. Some of the men on these panels, if not all of them, have a different perspective when it comes to interacting with women, but most men don't. So I think that until that becomes a more like set standard, it's going to be difficult to enact, because I think most men actually adopt, if I'm gonna deal with a woman, I'm gonna be abused. I can expect for her to take advantage of me to some degree. I can expect for her to have emotional mood swings, so on and so forth. That's kind of how I look at
I
that.
think that's so sad. I think that's really sad that men don't get to experience that. I just really think that's sad, and it sucks because there are some decent women who want to give that. You know what I mean? It's some decent women out here who want to give men those experiences. We just can't. I say we just don't. They just don't seem to be able to link up or match, or they here, they're there, and we just not. People not linking up. But I think that's sad. True. I think that's really unfortunate, right? So random thought. My bad.
I would say unfortunately the majority is not that, and that's why. I, with my profession, I sit and I hear a lot of women talk about their experiences in dating. Some are divorcees, some are people who are in and out of relationships, some people are in situationships, all kinds of stuff. And my favorite thing that always, not favorite, but the one thing I love to cut their whole rant about when I ask them questions about how they felt about the date or how they felt about the guy, and they're going on about this, I said, you don't like him. And it's always a, like a reworking of their brain, like, you don't like him. A lot of this is people dating people they don't actually like. They're dating them for a look. They're dating them for like just for the date itself. As much people try to act like I can pay for my own meal, then why haven't you gone on a solo date? Why are you going out? Are you going for the date, or are you going for this false sense of also I get to sit with someone and pretend that I'm trying to get to know people, but you're really not in the end. You're just going for a new thrill.
Oh, they
That's
finna
what a lot of times
So
seems like
Miss
it
Mac,
happens.
they gonna hate
Miss
you.
Mac,
for saying
what are
that.
some of those? What are some of those indicators that a man is actually running into a plate pirate versus somebody who's actually trying to get to know him?
A plate pirate is hilarious. Ooh. I feel like if there's sometimes I feel like there's a certain requirement of, first of all, even someone saying to you that you have to spend a certain amount to spend time with them. I think that will be a big one. And this is why I don't really like the idea of how people date currently, where they go on the websites or they meet up and they're like, hey, let's go to here in this place. And they never really seem to have conversations, like not real ones. Even the playbacks of what's happening, it's not even like in-depth things actually asking about you. But I think that comes from also people running from themselves so much that how can I ask you a real question when I don't even know the real me?
Yeah,
The real
Willie
me
has
is not
some.
even at this dinner.
I
I
was
thought
just
you
gonna,
landed.
I was just gonna give Miss Mac the advice that you can't make that much sense and be that logical as a woman without the chat calling you a pick me or thinking that you're up here pandering for penis. So I just wanted to give you a heads up not to read the chat.
I haven't been reading the chat the whole time, so I have no clue what's actually going on. I've just been enjoying being in the ambiance of here.
We got
I have
Miss
learned
Mac, you're doing the
myself
right
to
thing. You're doing the
ignore
right
things
thing.
that don't
Never read the
bother
chat.
we got a couple of Mucinex monster shaped hyenas that hate women that make sense to men. So
and that's okay because I don't that's not a thing that would bother me because I know that what I say is not actually just based on a man's perspective. It's actually having conversation with more women than anything. And sitting in that, and because I have close friends that are men that put me, as they love to say, on game of things, and I've had conversations firsthand with, like, I was much heavier. I had a conversation with a man that absolutely wanted to sleep with me, but also had the same conversation of he would never like date me for real. We had a very candid, open conversation about that. So I like to have real conversations. And I guess in this case, if I were to be called a pick me, is more so because I'm just seeing for what it is. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat what's happening.
So I have a question for just curiosity. That's the man that you had this open and honest conversation with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he get the cracker? Yes or no?
I did not sleep with him, no.
Okay. It just supports the underlying point that when men tend to be honest with women, get to do the thing they want to do with women. Like the ultimate thing. Like y'all still have conversations, that hang out, whatever, but the ultimate goal, like, he's 4th and 1, you can give him 10 tries and he's never gonna score a touchdown.
Do y'all think women should be honest with men? Like, for example, if a man asks you on a date and she thinks, like, realistically it's like a 95% chance that we never be anything and you never crack or nothing like that, but I am a little bit hungry sometimes and I do like to go out and get cute, so why not?
So I actually experienced that recently. So I had a guy say or ask, could he take me on a date? And could we meet up for dinner? He said, I got a great vibe. I'm this. But I wasn't interested. But I think he's cool to hang around. So I was just like, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. It was great hanging out, and we was at a pool party. And I said, but I'm not interested in a romantic way, and he wrote back and he said, got it. What about drinks from time to time? and I don't think I responded. Sorry.
Do you
I
do
don't
you
think I
like to go out and do you love to like get cute, put your makeup on, and like is that like a thing for you? Take pictures, post on Instagram.
Me?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
wear makeup, but I do like to get cute.
you do.
I do like to get cute and go out. Yes, I do.
Okay, okay,
I like to step out and be my best self when I'm out. Yeah,
yeah, okay. I think
You know,
it's
I think that's
unrealistic
pointless.
for
but I
us
think I'll
to
be
tell like men and women like, yo, tell everybody the exact truth of your intentions from the beginning. Like, if a guy wants to have sex with you, I think it should be your job to determine if he's just like want to fuck you, and vice versa. If a woman wants to, if she's hungry, like it should be my job to determine if she's hungry and if she just like to get cute and take pictures. Like, I don't like the idea of like telling other people to, that because this is the real world. I get it. Like, I'm an intentional person at this point in my life, but I don't think that's not like a we can't trust people to be intentional, you know?
Yeah, the majority of people, I mean,
so you.
you're not going to know if somebody wants to just go out to dinner and they're not really interested in you. Well, if a guy is saying, hey, I want to take you out to dinner, or are you busy today? You want to just go grab something to eat, and you're not interested in. Are you going to say, well, I'm not interested in you in any other way, but I'm cool if we, have a conversation and grab something to eat. He's still going to want to try most of the time.
You know
Right.
what's
That's what
gonna
I was
help you
scared
figure
of. I
out
was
who
scared of leading
actually
him
likes
on.
you? Enthusiasm is gonna help you know who likes you. Because someone who likes you on either end is not going to take too long to respond to you. They're actually probably waiting for you to say something to them. They're waiting to hear from you. Enthusiasm will solve a lot of this. Where also our personal discernment. Like, you can't tell at this point in life that somebody don't like you like that.
Yeah, but
Like,
I really don't think, I think a lot of times, I mean, I'm not one to like, I don't like to go meet somebody and go have dinner just to have dinner, free meal. Like, that doesn't interest me at all. But,
Right.
because you got to sit there and have a conversation with somebody, and I'm just not a user. I don't like using people for, things like that.
That's because we
But
old.
I've never been,
Yeah.
first of all,
Right. Right.
no, I
You
mean,
old by
I
No,
get what
yourself,
you're
Mark.
saying,
that's a young
but,
girl game. We gotta
but it's,
all admit that.
what
but
is going on dinners?
Being
no, I
hungry.
Just to
With
don't.
go on the
somebody you don't
dinner.
like.
Oh,
Yes.
let's
Yes.
no. Let
I
me
know
tell you
plenty of people
something.
who do
Let's
it.
stop
Like,
that.
Miss Mac.
No, let's stop that. I literally, and I wish I recorded like she said I could, because she said I could do the audio, not the visual. I might start doing that. She is not someone who is younger, and she definitely is going on dates, golf dates in particular, because she knows that those men are going to spend money, buy drinks, all the things.
Mhm.
So that's not a young woman's
Right. That's what we
game.
said.
It is.
That's
It's
like
mostly.
let's not put
I
Yeah.
that
think
to
it
a
makes young
certain like
mentality.
Hold on.
age or demographic or
I
any
mean,
of
it
that.
is because young girls don't have money like that. It's a
Mentality.
young girl. It's a young girl and a broke girl's game. And if it's not either one of those, it's the women who just like to use men. And if I'm being honest, they might not be young in like number age, but they're definitely young up here because like it takes an immature type of mentality to me to just use a man like you're just going out with him for dinner, just superficially, you don't have nothing to do with him and you're leading him
So
on. I think that's immature. So that's a
That's
young
why a
girl
lot of times
mentality.
guys have a
Vo, do
hard
you
time
think
with
that
discerning or with, understanding, like, does she, like, I see, like, there's, like, I have a friend who he'll be like, my first date is never going to be out to dinner and spend, $300-400. It's always going to be like, hey, you want to meet at, Starbucks or get coffee, things like that, because that'll kind of determine how she responds, will determine if, she really wants something like more serious, or she just wanted a free meal. A lot of times women are like, oh, take me on a coffee date,
So
first date, like.
So I could tell that the guy was interested, right? Because he just, you know how they be weird sometimes. And I could tell, and I was trying to move, and I didn't want to give him the inclination. Like, if I was to do what you say, Miss Mac, I feel like I would be leading him on in a way. Like, I felt like sometimes going on dinner dates and accepting that proposal would have him thinking that there is a slight potential
well,
that he would go out with me, and I'm not interested like at all.
So for just on all purposes, I never said to just go on a dinner date with some guy just because. Like, if that's the case, say we're going as hang out as friends and you pay for your own meal. But I never said just go on these dates just to. No, don't give. I don't feel like it's a good idea to give a man the space to think there's space for him if there's not space for him. I don't believe in that now.
So you guys assume that most men have the strong discernment. And I'll be the first to tell you that this only belongs to a subset of men who are really, really good with women and have access to women. Most men don't have no discernment. Most men think women outside their house, they belong to them to some degree. The girl could be looking past you. The dude will assume that, hey, she looked my way, and he'll build a narrative because like I like the terminology Myron Gain uses. A lot of dudes are outside the candy store for a long time. There's very few dudes that are inside the candy store. So I don't know. I don't know if being honest directly for most dudes would work. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to even kind of.
I think what the women are saying is like it's not going to work, but they want to hear it anyway because they're being selfish, right? Just like the men are being selfish. It's like I want you to show me your cards so that I can deny you.
Welcome back.
He should be selfish too.
Welcome back, Mont. Thank you. I do agree with that, sir. You're absolutely right.
So what should
I wanted to ask you. But I just want to ask you real quick. Do you think that it's possible that some of these ladies that you were speaking of, men too, would just, I mean, the discernment is one thing, but sometimes people just go out with an attitude that's just predatory, right? Where that's just what they want to do. Like, you can't really stop them. I do believe that people should be honest most of the time, but there's only about 10% of people who will really be able to accomplish being extremely honest if they have nefarious intent and get away with it, right? Most men can't just be like, you know what? I'm just trying to hit. That's not going to work. That's wildly ineffective. It's a great idea in theory, but when you try to put that into practice, you're going to have a very high failure rate and you're going to waste a lot of time trying to work it that way. So that's why, and I'm not, again, I don't stand behind the deception, but I understand why people come up with these weird ways of being dishonest because you're not going to be successful otherwise. What you had, bro?
But wait, so it's a way. So it's not a waste of time, I don't think. Now, are they going to be highly unsuccessful? Yes, because you should be unsuccessful out here trying to stick your dick into everything that you see. So you should not get those women. And until you change your mind, like, you don't want women out here just well, I guess he's spending the money, I'm gonna go. I don't like him, but I'm gonna go ahead and go. You don't want women doing that. But it's okay for men to waste a woman's time acting like he likes her just to get the box. It would serve people better to either do better or get nothing. Like, yes,
but I think
you
women
should
always know that a man, that's the end goal always, no matter what. So even if he says he might like you, he might like to look at you, he might want to be in your presence, he might want to take someone out, but the end goal is always going to be to get the cookie. So
that's what I
Jay,
mean.
I can't quite
understand
agree with
that, but what I'm saying is, if that's all he wants, you should just say that. Of course, any man that wants you, that's the end goal. But if that's all you want, you should just say that, because sometimes that's all women. Some women would want too. You never know. Majority of us, maybe not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's some hoes, but
yeah, for sure.
Right.
And so, but you should be
right?
unsuccessful, because stop running up these women's coochies with no intent. If you don't have any intent, you shouldn't be getting no box anyway.
But going
You
to
should
dinner
be
and giving
dry.
up coochie, going out to dinner and then giving up coochie afterwards, then I mean, what?
Bo,
You know, yeah.
I got a question though. You can help me, please, because the men I believe you're talking about, help me on this one. Don't y'all decide that we getting it? We don't ever have to tell you I want it, like, because that's select. Like from what women have told me, it's a select, like meaning she's already decided you can get it before the date's even being introduced.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do I have to tell you that I want that if you've decided that I'm gonna get it regardless if I asked you out or not?
Oh no, because you could get it, but that's not all you finna get. Is the thing. I don't want, like, okay, just because a woman has decided that you could get it, that sometimes, and it should be all the time, that comes with a commitment. And if you don't want that, you need to state that. Yes, we have already decided. Like once there's something, like for me, there's something that clicks. Like I'm getting to know you and getting to know you, and at some point, and it may not be the first date, but at some point it clicks. You've done something and it click in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I probably fuck shit at him. But you're not gonna know that. You'll never know that until you show me some kind of seriousness.
But you just want us to tell y'all because y'all want to charge us more. That's
But
literally what you want to do. There's some women who will still sleep with you, but they're like, all right, you just want to sleep with me? Okay, well, I want to go shopping. Or like, okay, I'll make you take me out a little bit. Like plenty of girls will just charge you more once they realize you just want sex.
Yes, but those are not the girl we talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead, True.
No, I don't think that's what I'm saying. Because I don't. Bo, do you hear what you said? You said that you've decided that whomever he is can get it, right? Then you tied, but then there's more.
You could get it, but you got to come. You have to earn it.
Okay, but that makes no sense because you decided that he was getting it, and now you're saying that he needs to be honest. That
could get it.
True, charging you more. True.
No. You could get it. Okay. I ain't say that you was gonna get it. You could get it.
Womanese right here. This is womanese. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But what you're saying again makes no sense. You're because you're setting the rules for the exchange and then tying it to the fact that he needs to be upfront, but then you're not upfront, but you decided that he was getting it regardless. And now you're saying that
no. He's not getting it regardless. You just could get it.
Okay.
I have decided that you could because there's some chemistry there. But if there's nothing else but chemistry, then I'm probably not finna go forward with this.
Okay. I does not understand this whatsoever.
So Bo, would that not be you deciding what it's going to cost?
No, it has nothing to do with cost.
And not just a number, not just a money amount. I'm saying cost in time, whatever your cost is, because everything's not about just the money. Would that not be you assessing the cost of it?
I guess.
I don't like to hear it like that.
That's what you were saying, True.
Exactly
we don't like to hear it, but it is what it is. Is it not?
I know.
Okay, if you don't like that word, what other word would work in this case then? That would make sense for real. Like for real.
Well, I wouldn't say cost, I would say potential, because we're trying to see if he has, more substance to, like a potential person that I would want to engage in being with in my future, or being a partner with, or whatever the case is. You're still in that data collecting phase.
We talking about the person that just want to sleep with you, though, right? We talking about the guy that just want to sleep with you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think we're making mistakes. This is what we.
So Bo, you're saying a guy that just wants to sleep with you, you know that he can get it, but it's not a for sure, and you're checking him out a little longer to see if you want to give it to him?
No. The
That's what I
dude
was
that
thinking.
just no. I'm talking about just men that you're dating in general.
Right. That's
But
what I was
men that
thinking.
just want to sleep with you, I ain't gonna hold you. That's a turn off for me. Like you can't get
Right.
it at that point.
I didn't think
But
that's what you was referring to. So I
But I
think
feel
they
like a lot of
referred
times
to
you're not
two
going to
separate
know.
things.
I feel like a lot of times you're not going to know that. And
If
I mean, I learned from my brother. Like my brother would, try to, say all the things, and he might see somebody a couple times to get to that point, and then he's
But
no,
but see, but we're a little older, so it's in that vetting process. I ain't gonna hold you. Your girl been deprived for a while, and the reason why I am is because I take my time vetting people. And if I see at some point of this vetting process that I don't see a future with you, I'm gonna just politely keep it moving. So I take my time. I'm not in a rush to sleep with anybody. But like Bo said, if it do get to a point where I'm like, yeah, he can possibly get it, but I'm still vetting him a little bit better to see if he's going to get it. And a lot of time, I mean, like,
don't
they ain't
y'all
passing.
All right. So I think the problem that we're running into is people aren't understanding how counterproductive this actually is, because the waiting time is not going to determine whether the man is going to stay with you or not. What else comes with that actual package is what's going to be the determining factor. So you can try to manage it, ration it as much as you like. It's really not going to save you. If a dude is coming in just to crack, right, and let's say you decide to hold him off for a while, he's just going to smash other joints in the meantime, and then he'll still be in queue for you, and that's fine. He'll hit, and then particularly if it's trash, he's out of there. That's just what's going to happen. Even if it is he's the dudes that behave like that. You're not going to change their behavior because women are the people who've created these men in the first place. Dudes don't just think that they can hit anything. Your average guy doesn't run around thinking he can hit anything. These are the dudes that women have continued to give access to. So you created these monsters in the first place by giving them all this access, and y'all picking the same bros, and then wonder why he does what got him there in the first place.
you said it
So
better than
so whether or not he stick around is not my problem. You know what I mean? If I take my time to properly vet him and then decide, okay, this is somebody I would like to move forward to, we had those type of conversations. If he did all that and just wasted his time with me just to, show me the good side and win me over just to get into the goodies, then I mean, ain't no relationship or no situationship is guaranteed anyway. So, but I still would still do that every time. Take my time to get to know somebody before I let them have access to me.
I think that's you personally, Paris. But from what I'm hearing, y'all still not understanding that you are, like Trev said, setting the exchange. From again, what I've been taught by women is there are certain men that automatically, absolutely, and then there's certain men that you're like, yeah, I got to check him out a little bit more, whether that's level of attraction or not, right? So basically, what I'm explaining to you is decent human beings, whether this dude is a slayer or not, if he's used to getting women, because y'all not men, I'm telling you by experience, y'all the one asking, so what are we? You're the one inquiring about the relationship. Dudes are not saying, I just want to hit it. You know what it is. That only comes up when she inquires. Dudes are not going to come and be like, I only want to bend you over, right? That's not how they move. But you selected that dude already. Like he's already in your atmosphere, in your stratosphere. You guys are engaged. And whether you probably want to believe it or not, most cases, she's already given that dude access, which is why the follow-up to where is this going comes up. And then he now is telling you, oh yeah, I wasn't really rocking with you like that. Like I'm chilling. That's
but
typically how that goes. In more
but
cases, not. Go ahead.
but that's how this whole conversation came up because I said men should just stop being puss ass niggas and just say what you want at the onset. And
Shaming us,
Trev was like,
shame doesn't
I,
work, bro.
But
I'm just saying they
Bo,
pussy ass niggas.
I'm
That's my
but
opinion.
Bo, I
Y'all
think this
call
is,
us everything
I
else.
think we're missing the aspect of, and I say this, and I guess it's one of the things. Women also like to be lied to a little bit
Mm.
because the reality is, if that was the case, and every man told you as soon as he met you that he does want to sleep, like certain things, if you actually hear them aloud, like if you actually hear this aloud, you're not even gonna be like, whoa, what is happening here?
So having couth and decorum and knowing how to say things is not the same thing as lying. Women don't want to, some women do not want to be lied to. I need you to tell me exactly what you
But they don't
do
want the
want and
truth.
do not want. That is just how I am. I don't have nothing to do with nobody else. I cannot identify. I can say all day long, no, women don't want to be lied to. I don't have nothing to do with that. I want the full on truth. Now, if you want to be a pussy ass nigga and be scared that I'm going to reject you, that's your fault. You want to be lied to. I do not. I am going to reject you because that is a turn off to me for someone to just want something physical. As soon as I see all a man wants is physical, I'm talking about dries up immediately. Stop being a hoe ass nigga and just say what you want. And let's stop wasting our time. I'm 45. I ain't got but 4 years on this planet. I got to go. Let's go. What are we doing? What do you want? Get out of my face. Just say the
I got a
thing.
couple questions,
There's
But
Bo.
see,
I got a couple
also a
questions for
moment
you.
of when someone first meets you. How are they supposed to know anything other than the fact that they would want to sleep with you? Like if we're going back
If
to how we
that's
said like
all you
aesthetics and just
want,
what you see.
if that is all you want,
Mm-hmm.
I go up to a person and yes, I'm like, oh, he's attractive. He could probably get it. Yes. But that is not all I want.
Got you.
I
So,
want something more. I just don't know if that's with that person. But my idea when I first meet that person is not, oh, I just want to fuck him. I don't want nothing else.
But
That's
see,
what
well,
I'm
Bo,
Bo,
saying.
the problem is it don't work being honest. Like I love honesty. I'm all for honesty. I want you to be honest with me. But I've learned with them being honest with me, they don't get what they want. And so that's probably why they have to go another approach because we want them to be honest, but at the end, they're still not getting what they want. And that's having certainly, a guy being upfront, like, yeah, I just, I would love to smash. That's all you
I
want.
think we're
So
trying to
this is
hold people to
crazy.
standards that we don't hold ourselves to, right? Like, because all of us lie, depending on what it is. Like, how many of us went to job interviews and was like, yeah, I'm gonna be your best employee for real, right? Oh yeah, I'm
Never.
always on time. Oh yeah,
Never.
I'm like, yeah, like, yo, my problem is I work too hard. Like, I love too hard. Like, you know,
If you get hired saying that bullshit interview,
Oh,
the boss deserves to be fired because he's stupid too.
like, how
Stop
many of us be honest?
when you saying like that. So I was trying to think how to word this without sounding like an asshole. Like women, y'all say a lot of shit that's like implied. Like when you tell a man you love him, you mean I love you right now, as you at the capacity in which you are serving me and that I'm benefiting from. Y'all leave like whole fucking paragraphs like implied, like it's it's like the silent part, like the dot dot dot. Y'all also do that when you're dealing with men because you act as if you don't know that unless you're ugly. So you guys figure that out for yourself. Unless you're ugly, every man that comes and tries to get to know you, he literally has his dick out, but it's behind his back. And he's waiting for you to be like, oh, I would like some dick. So he can be like, here, real quick, and show it to you. So you gotta, when y'all are talking about guys, you literally just need to ask them, like, okay, hey, listen, I know you see these titties, I know you see this ass, you see this face, these eyes. I know you want to fuck, but what else? And have that conversation then. Because then you say,
Are they
okay,
going to be honest though? Do you think
wait,
that
hold
most
on.
men will be honest?
If you let me finish, there's no
Oh,
room
I'm
for
sorry.
it to be dishonest in this conversation. Because if you tell a man and you start this conversation, it's like the W2 thing I said earlier. You give something like, okay, listen, bro, I know you want to fuck. I know this what you want. But like, what's in it for me? What else are you willing to give me, be for me, provide for me in order to do that? And have the conversation. Some niggas are gonna tell you nothing, bitch, you're not worth it. Some niggas are gonna tell you the moon and the stars. But then you find the nigga in the middle who's realistic. Well, and so while I'm getting to know you, I feel like this is fair because sex isn't a value loaded exchange between men and women. Neither is like y'all treat sex as if it's some sort of like prize or reward, as if you don't want to fuck him either. So, and again, not trying to be funny, but your vagina doesn't mean shit without his dick to him, because he's got 5 fingers and you got a bunch of battery operated shit in your fucking drawer. So neither one of y'all necessarily needs each other to bust a nut, but sometimes doing it together is more fun. So when y'all are having this conversation and being genuine with each other, and you're like, okay, so you're willing to, you know, be consistent, be intentional, get to know me, saying actually learn me, treat me well, be polite, be kind, all of those things in exchange for, now it seems like, okay, well, giving him a little piece of pussy might not be a bad idea. But instead, y'all treat niggas like you don't know they want to fuck, but then, as Restoring said, want to go on $300 dates and just enjoy the experience. As if niggas don't, like, most niggas can't afford to go on as many dates as women do a week and enjoy the experience, because then they'd be literally living below the poverty line. So like it's okay when it benefits you guys, but as soon as it doesn't, y'all reject it. The only men who can't be honest with y'all are the niggas y'all don't like, because the men y'all like, y'all lie to yourselves for those niggas. Like for your dream dudes, y'all literally, like, I know I said I was celibate to the last nigga that only made $55 an hour, but this nigga make $55,000 a month. If I give him some pussy, maybe he'll actually like me. Y'all start lying to yourself for those men. So if you want average niggas to start treating you like those other niggas, it's not gonna hurt men, it's gonna hurt y'all. Because now you're gonna be disappointed. You didn't get tricked into some good sex. Now you didn't get tricked into a good relationship with a nigga who's willing to do other things for you, because you expect for him to come to you up front, pretend like his dick is not already out behind his back, and then not expect you to say, well, hey, this is the criteria to fuck me. But you pretend like he's consistent, he's got to be 6 feet tall. That's not what the case is, because if that was the problem, it wouldn't be niggas that's 5'6", 5'7", overweight, obese, hungry, broke, that have 2 and 3 baby mamas.
We're gonna get into some super chats.
I'm not saying clock it, but 80 joules means Stellatic sent 80 joules. I'm not saying that's gay. 650 joules again, mystery gift. 18 shoe pastor sugar daddy. That's wild. Paris, I love and still want you to have my baby. Econate. Damn, I can't use the accent. I told a few women they pussy is fishy and transish. Wait, whoa, what's a transis pussy?
I'm assuming he said trash.
I think he was trying. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to him, man. Oh man,
he paid for it, so I'm giving it to him. Paris, put our business out there in these streets. Oh, and Willie the best man. No, the fuck I'm not. I'm not finna be the best man in you and Paris wedding. No, I don't support marriage. I support breaking up. I'm not. That shit. Your bachelor party would be so disgustingly diabolical that she will leave you the next day. I'm a terrible best man.
So we got another clip jumping in.
My white counterparts, their parents are paying for the weddings. They pay for that whole wedding. Right? Their parents are paying for the weddings. Their parents are paying for their first car. Their parents are paying, like, sometimes they're giving down payments for their home. Down payments for the house. They're setting them up. Yes. So even though it may be a struggle, because mind you, at the end of the day, they still struggle in marriage. Yeah. But even though it may be a struggle, they're not struggling over the rent. They're not struggling over the house. They're not struggling over the vehicle, because their parents are saying, hey, like, I literally just had a couple, they're going through it right now, and their parents loaned them some bread to make sure that they can pay for the counseling, to make sure that they can pay for the bills, pay for the babysitters as they navigate and process new information. It's there. So whenever you come from a poverty-stricken mindset, community, or even family, when you think about getting married, you think about you're going to carry the weight of this marriage. And then you start looking at the numbers and how much things cost. And that could stop anybody in their tracks. Well, hold on. Hold on, Slim. Right? And because then you're forced to make a decision. All right, but what if we just go ahead and pay this 75 to 150 to go down to the courthouse, get this done? But she doesn't see that. She don't want that. Exactly. She's like, nah, I want the big thing. I want the full shebang. And he realizes, well, I'm not in position to give you what you want, because that right there is going to cost us a lot. But what if we just did this delayed gratification? But it's the thought that, no, I'm not willing to settle on that causes a man to say, you know what? That's how you feel. That's so good. We'll rock with that. That's
So,
So-
are we trying to talk about parents paying for
So
weddings?
are we supposed to talk about why couples are going into
Well,
debt
how
for marriages?
well
Or?
we can talk about but there's plenty of ways we could go about it. But how much of an impact do you think that makes when your parents set you up? Because a lot of our struggles today are financial, right? That's one of the top reasons for divorce. One of the reasons why we aren't successful. We're struggling. We can't do the things that we want. We can't. We can't send our kids to the school we want. We can't get the food that we want. We can't live in the neighborhoods that we want. We can't buy the cars that we want. We have. So if we're behind on all those things, then I think that it would have an impact on your relationship, particularly because it is statistically shown that finances are a great portion of the divorces.
So
Well, should we be getting married then at that moment?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because two broke people or two poor people shouldn't be getting married. Like they should be trying to unpoor themselves before they wed themselves.
No.
I think you guys. Go ahead, Bo. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like a couple coming together, especially if they love each other and they want to be married, and pooling their resources for survival. I don't think that that's wrong. Where I think that poor people fuck up in marriage. I mean,
they have resources, they're just meager.
Yeah, like if you don't make a lot of money, but you got wait.
Whoa.
But anyway, I don't. What happened?
Hold on, wait a second. Hold on. Yo, Kayla, your arms look long as shit. You scared the shit out of us when you came up here. How are you? You have to unmute.
Hello?
Yeah, no, your arms look super long. You scared the fuck out of us when you came up here. Like, well, hi.
Can't hear you.
Welcome to the panel.
What is happening?
Damn, I think she just hacked us. But Bo, so let me say this real quick.
No, I think she got cut off when she tried to move the phone. She's actually supposed to be on. So carry on.
Bo, let me ask you something, Bo, just to be fair. Like,
I think a better introduction would be prudent, but carry on.
I was throwing her in here immediately so she know what type of time we were going to be on. So this is the thing, right? Two people that are struggling, when they get together, guess what what's going to change? Their struggle is just going to be together now. And no disrespect, again, I'm not saying all. I give you one more time. I am not saying all, but we know what happens to our women when they struggle with the man for too long. So if the baseline is struggle, and then they get together and they're still struggling, the odds of them lasting long is even slimmer than it wouldn't be if they were struggling when they got together. For example, Trev gave you a great point. Finances is one of the main reasons for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at that statistic and they ask the men, like, was it a sudden change that happened? There's some, but the majority of those financial struggles are just long, ongoing financial struggles that existed pre-marriage. So people getting married thinking that it's going to change something financially or at which they struggle, those men are nuttier than squirrel shit. Because we understand that, again, our job as men is to provide. And really what provide means to a lot of women is to alleviate them of the burdens of adulthood. Financially, shelter-wise, those things. A nigga who was broke beforehand is not just miraculously going to get married to you and be able to do those things for you because he couldn't do them before. That's like y'all telling niggas, I'm not doing no wife shit until we get married. Like, that's how crazy that sounds.
So that's not what I didn't get a chance to finish my point. So, point is, if two sensible people came together and they got married and pooled their resources, because if you are surviving ish by yourself, two people together can survive better together because you're paying for one household bills. You all can help each. I'm just saying, like, this can be this can be a sufficient situation because you have a little money, I got a little money. Let's put that together and have a little more money. I'm just saying that, like, fiscally, it can make sense. Also, if, and this is a big if the woman listens to the man and the man knows how to manage the money, that would be perfectly fine. But the only thing that I disagree with is that wedding shit. I really want poor people to let this wedding shit go. You don't have any money. Your parents ain't got no money to pay for it. Why are you having these huge weddings? We need to be packing the courthouse because you don't have enough money to pay for a wedding and pay for a house or whatever future you're going to have together. I feel like we need to let all this pomp and circumstance and all of these big parties for other people go. And if you have a woman that, and you all don't have the means like that, you have a woman insisting on this big shindig, that's a big red flag. Because if that woman knows your finances and she's going to make you squeeze blood from a turnip anyway, let that bitch go.
A lot of these people are going into debt to have these weddings. I would
I
say
Why are we
know.
having
the overwhelming.
right? Why are we even
But
having these weddings?
I can tell you why. The same reason y'all have baby showers. You know what baby showers are in the Black community? Weddings for single mothers. That's all they are. Like y'all take every chance you can. And I'm saying y'all as Black women in general, so not you all on the panel. Take every chance you get to celebrate some shit, to look better than you are. Like, I think that's why a lot of niggas like going to church, because they get to dress up and it makes them feel good. Not because they want to get the word. They just want to go and sit and congregate, you know what I'm saying, and look better than sister so-and-so from last week with the bigger hat. Like, all of that pomp and circumstance, that shit is rooted in who we are as people. That's why, again, people live in apartments with Benzes.
I am not.
That's why people have 23% interest rates on 2014 5 Series BMWs, because they want the luxury without being able to afford it. So they're willing to take whatever they can to have it. The fact that a woman, like these guys saying, they want to go into debt to have a wedding, literally, just to have people come that they don't give a fuck about for real, that they can't call on an event of emergency, who probably didn't even give a shit, but they want to feed them and say, "Hey, guy, we got married." Like, the point of that is just
I am not having a wedding if I can't afford that shit.
it's simply appearances.
That's just what it is.
So let me ask you this: restoring her village. Would you agree with people spending a lot of money on a wedding, or what do you think a budget should be? How do you think that should go?
No, I mean, I'm from the Middle East, so it is common in our culture for people to spend an absurdly amount of money on weddings. I think it is really disgusting, and it does set a lot of couples back because they spend a huge amount of time trying to pay that debt back. Even if the family, fronts a little bit, again, you are then indebted to the family. It's just a lot of pressure too. That's just unnecessary pressure added to the couple. It's hard to recover from. So I completely disagree with that.
Yeah, one of the things that both said that was sensible, which I like that word, but I think the young men were alluding to the fact that if you're talking about our community, melanated people, the reality is most of us, most of the people community don't have, lineage. They don't have support. So they kind of drew a parallel between the white community and the Black community, stating that there's backing. If you're talking about being with someone from the community, 9 times out of 10, y'all both in the same economical position, meaning that it is just you two. That's what they were saying. So the expectation needs to be realistic to understand that if you're trying to transition into life with this person, it's going to look different than this real show, especially if because those families, like they said, they give them houses, they pay off school debt. Like, I know too many people who don't look like me that, the reason why a lot of the white guys I've met got married fast was because they knew that they was getting a house, and then they were getting sent to Bali for 2 weeks, and they didn't have to look at it from one position, like my income only, or they didn't think about it like that. So a lot of times the brothers in the community, unfortunately, were not set up to even be able to forecast like that. So I guess to Bo's point, y'all too gonna have to build that, you know, that connection, that tribe, and work it out, work it together, whether that's a courthouse or a little park reception or whatever. And that should be okay, in my opinion, if you really in love.
We get married within our budget.
I think a lot of people too overly emphasize the wedding day and not the actual marriage. So a lot of women especially rush, you know, because they want to have this big extravagant wedding, and then once the wedding's over, it's like, well, what now? So yeah, priorities, I guess.
I never believed in it. I'm with you, Restoring. We going to the beach. If
She's
you can
not
make
wrong.
it, you can
Like,
make it. If you can't, you can't.
your marriage, your wedding shouldn't cost more than your divorce inevitably will. That's a good rule of thumb. So if you've been through a divorce before, you know that return is going to be between 5 and 10 if you don't have shit. If you got some shit, 15 to 20. So multiply that times 2. That's the ceiling. And then you extrapolate from there and say, well, how long do the average marriages last? Look those numbers up. Now multiply that top number times 0.6, whatever the average length of time is. That's how much you spend on your wedding. It's a mathematic formula. You niggas are welcome.
Okay.
Well, if you get one in Mexico, it's maybe about $5,000, and it come with everything. Just in case anybody need to know.
I'm gonna spend the money that my woman wants to spend, because the reason why I'm getting married and having a wedding is to give her that. I think that the women deserve the fairy tale if the man is able to provide it. And if it's not going to put them in debt or make them destitute or have to downsize their life, if he can afford it, he can spend it if he wants to.
And Lakeisha, that's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know that if I spend $200,000 on a wedding to invite, again, a bunch of motherfuckers I don't even see at the family reunion or recognize, I don't believe that's going to make my marriage last any longer than the work that we did to even get to the point of wanting to marry each other.
And Lakeisha, that's not how Mexico works. It's not just, go to Mexico, it's $5,000. It depends on the resort you go to, Lakeisha.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. Obviously, I looked up a resort that I want to go to. I know how much it costs.
As the only nigga up here that's actively planning a wedding, I'm not gonna argue with Mont on that one. I'm not going. He probably knows.
Well, just in general, this is like you just like said, just restaurants cost $100. Like, no, it's $1,000 restaurant.
I'm just saying, it's more affordable. That's all. It could be more affordable because a lot of things are included versus, when you go to different places in the States.
Mont, if I have any input into where y'all get married, I would like to vote for the Jade Mountain Resort in St. Lucia. And then
I gotta think about other people. I just can't think about my rich friends.
First of all, if they love you, they'll make a way. If they really care about you, sir, the regular folks, they don't have to stay there. They just got to show up for the wedding that day.
Oh God,
It's a bunch of coupon shit around it.
We got another clip coming up, y'all.
You giving up in a relationship?
Oh man, so much.
Do you feel the difference between compromise? Do you feel like there's a difference between compromise and sacrifice?
I think men always have to do a little bit more. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. Men always have to do a little bit more compromising, a little bit more.
Why?
And it's not by a lot. It's not like, oh my God, but it's a little bit more. We got to swallow the pill a little bit more than you guys.
Why do you expand?
I mean, he's just true.
It's just a little bit more. Okay.
I want to hear why.
Okay.
Because we got more ego too, like to stuff. And, being the man.
I think the strength.
Like we the king.
Yes, I agreed, 100%. I think the strength is in that. I feel like I've been able to be very apologetic and accountable, and I feel like a lot of times, the majority of the times, my partner has not been. Even over something small, right? Like I've done something small and I've been like, look, I want to apologize to you because I kind of had a bad day, and I can do that. Right? It's easy for me because I want you to know that you're not the issue. I'm going through something and I allowed that to hang on to you, and I apologize. I've been in situations where that can linger for days, 4 or 5 days. And now I'm effing feeling weird because you're having an issue, but you don't know how to communicate that issue to me. And so I got to swallow more pride than you. I gotta, and it's because you don't want to maybe, or I don't know. I'm speaking about a multitude of situations, but the consensus I've gotten is I've always had to just kind of, sorry. All right. Yeah, let's go. Because I'm driving the ship. We got to go where I have to go because I'm making the money, right? We have to go to this thing. We have to go to this event. I can't go to this event and you have a problem. So I need to clear the problem and make sure that we're straight before we go in here because I can't have any issues in here, right? I don't think that, you know, on the other foot, it's the same. I haven't seen it.
Come here, Trevor. What's wrong with you, boy? He's crazy. He's talking crazy.
Hey, listen, I don't know if your pander skill is strong enough yet. That pander food might not be there. That nigga's audience is vicious. And there's a bunch of old women, like aunties and shit. So don't say nothing too crazy about Mr.
Oh, he is tripping.
I want to ask the ladies first. Do you think
do
that
love
the man, as leading the household, is it his responsibility to regulate it in the fashion that bro just was talking about?
Yes.
Is he responsible for setting the tone? And why?
Absolutely. I would say so. Absolutely. I think, again, that's what comes with the responsibility of being a leader. It's like, you know, you want the title, but without everything that comes with it. I do think men compromise more, but I think that women tolerate more. So everyone has their role.
Oh my God. I don't agree with that at all. I think that women, well, depend on the type of man you with, right? Traditionally, for me, women have compromised more. But let's say in the relationship that I'm in now, right? I'm the man, I'm the leader, I'm the foundation. Now, absolutely, I will give grace, and absolutely, I will meet you in the middle, certain places. But I'm the foundation. You know, I don't compromise as much as my woman. I just think that's ridiculous. I think what he was talking about was just making concessions. Like, all right, well, I don't want to go into this thing upset, so I'm just going to agree with you. Or like, that's not how that works, right? We can have a conversation and all that type of stuff, and you don't got to go to bed upset. But that doesn't mean that I concede to what's going on. You know, we're gonna have an adult conversation, and yeah, it's going to be based in truth. I'm gonna hear your perspective, you're gonna hear mine. But this whole idea of like just making a concession to a woman's, you know, typically which might be her worst self, you know, like no, we're not doing that.
But can I ask, why do men have a problem with women being emotional if they are emotional?
Oh no, you it's no issue with you being emotional at all.
Shit.
So
no,
then,
I don't find no reason.
why are we saying they're conceding when they're just dealing with an issue with a woman who's being emotional in the moment?
So I'll give you an example, right? One time me and my woman had a disagreement as in the car, and as we was leaving, before we got out the car, I told her give me a kiss. She said no. In reality, I don't really play that. She know that. I don't give a lot of demands at all. I don't. So when I, you know, told her give me a kiss, she said no, that was an issue for me. We talked about it later on. And she told me that her perspective was she didn't want to concede to the argument because she thought if she gave me a kiss, she would be pretty much agreeing with what I said. And I communicated to her that I told you to give me a kiss because no matter what we are going through, no matter what we talk about, I still love you and I need you to understand that. And then you still love me and we're going to, you know, we're not going anywhere. So that was the purpose of me doing that, right? I could have conceded to that. I could have conceded to this whole idea. I'm like, no, we're going to hash this out, right? Because it's my job to keep us connected. It's my responsibility. If I just concede to you whenever you say no, that's just not how, because you're being emotional. No, like, so we had that conversation and that's corrected from then on. She's not going to do that again because she understands my perspective. So yeah, I don't like the idea of just kind of like going off of her emotions. And I can acknowledge her emotions and hold space for them, right? That's what people say. I can do all of that. But that don't mean that I necessarily allow them to lead us.
So can I give you the opposite of why it's a fucking problem to deal with women's emotions? It's the same reason y'all don't like getting lost, because you're trying to get somewhere and you don't know where you're fucking going. For the emotional woman, her destination is always fucking unfound. You need GPS to figure it out. So if we don't know where we're going, it's frustrating because we're trying to get somewhere and we can't because we don't know where we're going. That somewhere is to a peaceful resolution with you, like where you're not going to be like, you know, acting funny or having a stink attitude. That's why it's bad enough that women are inherently emotional. because your emotions change with the wind. Hey, you see the wrong TV show, it makes you cry. You see the wrong other TV show, it makes you think niggas might not really be shit. If you see a TV show where the nigga did something that I did months ago, it'll trigger you again. Now you mad at me for the same shit that we got over with 2 therapy sessions ago. That's why dealing with women, and it's not you being emotional. Not simply being emotional, to be fair. It's when you're just emotionally immature, when you don't know how to process your emotions and contain those emotions before they start trying to affect your actions or the way that you treat and receive us. That's the problem that we have.
I think a husband who leads should be willing to make concessions when they're in the best interest of wife, marriage, the family. And I also think that a wife should also be willing for the same reasons. I don't think neither person should be keeping score or expect one person to do more of the giving or than the next person. So
Keisha, do you not remember the shit that the nigga that pissed you off? Do you still remember the things that man has done to you? Yes
which one? I have many stories.
The last 5 niggas. Do you not remember things that each one of the niggas and his predecessors did to you? Do you still not remember them?
Somewhat. Yeah, I would say I do.
All right. So the idea of women not keeping score is a fucking fantasy that just doesn't happen. Now, what the problem?
No, I'm not keeping score.
It's not keeping score that's the issue. It's not keeping score that's the problem. You should absolutely keep score. Like keeping score is how you know what the pros outweigh the cons. You should absolutely do that. But what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't punish somebody for doing something they haven't done yet. And a lot of times when people keep score, they say, well, the nigga lied to me about who this bitch was 10 times. So now on the 11th bitch, I'm just going to assume that's what this bitch is, somebody she's not supposed to be. Or the guy assumes that, well, she lied about this nigga. She said, oh, I can't block him because of whatever. That now she's not blocking him, this next nigga, because it's not exactly what it says. It's like that movie Minority Report. Like we try to arrest people for crimes that they're going to commit in the future based off of things that we're seeing right now, and that's what's not fair.
Willie, did what he said sound like happy wife, happy life to you?
Who?
No.
What Trevor said, it sounded like happy wife, happy life to me.
I didn't hear that.
Hell no.
Conceding, compromising. That's what it sounded like to me.
No, because happy life, happy wife, happy life means you let her run amok and do whatever. It's not about compromising all this. It's not about compromising when it makes sense, or even saying when it's beneficial to the family. It's just when you happy wife, happy life. Let your wife wear what she wants. Let your wife say what she wants. Let your wife not do the duties or fulfill the duties unless she sees fit to. That's what happy wife means to me.
I think the danger in what he said.
Oh, go ahead.
I think the danger in what he said. You good? I think the danger in what he said was it sounded like he wanted to absolve women of responsibility. Once we get to the point of patronizing them just to get to a certain space, that's when it's a problem, for me at least, because when you're emotional, right, you could be emotional at work, but somehow you still have the wherewithal to function the way that you're supposed to and not lose your job, right? When you're handling your children, you can become emotional, but it's never acceptable for you to abuse your child just because you're emotional, right? You still have to say in a responsible space. I don't think that your significant other should get any less respect. I think you should put that same effort into maintaining that part of the relationship, because at every other time you're required to be a responsible adult and manage your emotions. So why is it okay at that point?
Could you just explain what that looks like? Because it seemed, well, actually, I want to just hear what that would look like for a woman to give the man in that, I guess, scenario to be emotions to a point where it doesn't overextend and turn into disrespect. What would that look like if she's being emotional?
Yeah. So if you're being emotional, if it's something that you can't deal with at all, then maybe you just need to calm down. Whatever it is that you do in those spaces, like when something that you don't want to happen at work happens at work, whatever it is you do, whether you do a countdown you concentrate on something else, whatever it is that you do to get back into a space where you can function normally. Whatever the same techniques that you would administer just for that type of a scenario, why can't you apply that to the partner that you're with?
With your spouse, you're saying to act like you're in a corporate setting and control your
You don't have
emotion.
to act like you're in a court. Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say sometimes in relationships, it seems like women are not allowed to be emotional. Because again, when you are with your spouse, if it's healthy emotion, right? She's not insulting or being disrespectful or, God forbid, like physical, then it seems like everything else outside of that is also kind of lumped into being quote unquote disrespectful. And
Oh,
to a woman, it kind of comes off as you're not allowed to be emotional because the comparison is, again, how come you can control it when you're dealing with coworkers or your boss? I'm dealing with my spouse. I'm not insulting. I'm not, again, being disrespectful or, I'm just emotional in the moment.
I think that you're drawing a line
That's I think
that we're not, because again, it's where the quiet
Right.
part needs to be said out loud. Those are the emotions we're talking about. We're not talking about the things that come with you being a girl, but like the being disrespectful, saying the being aggressive, the argumentative, all of that. Those are the emotions we're talking about. The rest of that cute girly shit, men aren't complaining about those things. And when we talk about being professional at work, it's not saying for you personally. It should be common sense. This is what we're talking about. Give us the same respect emotionally that you give your boss, who literally does less for you, is less to you, and will also expects more. I mean, and also expects less of you.
Absolutely. But that's why I said, can you give an example? Because respect in some cases could be subjective. Some people will literally take a woman, her
Oh,
tone being a certain way as disrespectful, when in reality, she's not insulting or being disrespectful.
well,
She's just emotional.
her intent behind it may not to be disrespectful, but again, if a rational person, people, there's standards that we have that are set, and being condescending is typically seen as being disrespectful, being rude. But then
I'll push
also
back on
we
that
have to
point.
understand the difference between intonation and your tone, and that's where a lot of women go wrong. They use those two words synonymously, and they're not opposites. I mean, they're kind of related, but they're still a little different. So your intonation is saying like, well, yeah, I didn't do that, to be like, or I didn't do that. That's not tone. Tone is like, I ain't do that. I ain't do that. See, the tone is different there. And when women talk to men, like the part that bothers us is when you guys give us those tone and intonation that's aggressive, that's condescending, that's passive aggressive or dismissive. And unfortunately, a lot of women do that. And there's a study out here, I think the University of West Australia put it out, that says that a lot of westernized women don't mature emotionally past the age of 14, which is why you see so many of those negative emotions being prevalent. So when Trev gives you that example, you would never talk to your boss that way. Your boss could tell you the most, well, on average. Some of y'all can fight, so I get it. But or come from money, so that's fine. But on average, y'all go in there and it's yes, sir, no, sir. Okay, right away, I'll get to it. Whatever you want, Master Johnson. Like that's the type of employees y'all are. But men don't get that at home. They don't get that same type of cooperation, concern, or care at home when it's your husband. Like, how many of y'all give your man a silent treatment? Like, that's a common thing that women do. They don't want to talk to you. They pretend like they don't know what the issue is. They don't want to address it because they haven't emotionally processed their emotions. And if you get a good one, she just won't talk to you, but she'll say, "Hey, listen, I don't know how to talk about this right now because I'm emotional. Let's wait." But a lot of y'all are just shut down and close the door and go in your room and get on your phone.
Because
think
then
it-
I don't want you to. I don't want you to
and
think. I'm just going to respond to it real quick. It's only going to be a few seconds, but I don't want you to think that we don't leave a space for women to be emotional. In general, men become very supportive when they realize that their woman is emotional, right? We just don't want any of that directed at us in a way that is hostile.
Absolutely, but I was just trying to understand like how you draw the correlation between like a corporate setting and like dealing with your spouse because when you're in a corporate setting, it's not necessarily a safe space. It's not, an environment where you can, openly speak the way you would amongst, even acquaintances or your friends, let alone your spouse. So I don't know where that correlation came in to where like you want your spouse to deal with you the same way she would deal with her boss. Because
I think I can
No,
help. I think
so
I
we
can
don't
help with
want
that.
you to deal with it in that way. We don't want you to act like you're in a corporate setting, but what we're saying is that we realize that you have the capability of conducting yourself to where you can manage those emotions, and that's the only correlation I would make with that.
But the only
I
thing
think it's
about
just.
that is, sorry,
That's it.
the only
Go ahead.
just real quick, the only thing about that is that you all are failing to see why women are having a hard time making the same correlation that y'all do. We are not paying them respect because we respect them. We're paying them respect because we don't want to get fired. And I'm like,
then pay
it's
them the
not.
same
And
respect.
I
You won't get divorced.
understand. No. I understand that, right? But what I'm saying is, like, that relationship is purely transactional. My relationship with my husband is not transactional. It's reciprocal. So, like, I should not I should not be fearing anything with you. Like, I want my respect for you to come because you are my husband. I want everything that I do to you and for you to be because I love and respect you.
Right now.
If you are not doing no. I'm saying, so respect should never waver for your husband. Respect and love should never waver. I might not like you all the time, but the love will always be there. The respect will always be there. If you got a woman that does not respect you, no matter what, you don't need to be with her. So that respect should be there. If their respect is not there, there is something that you are not doing. And you cannot expect anything from me if you are not doing your job to make me give that to you.
So respect should
Can I
always
get in
be,
there real quick?
but it's got to be earned. So what you're saying is that it actually is transactional.
It's not
No,
transactional.
it's not that it's not, but it shouldn't be. In theory, it shouldn't be
be.
transactional, but everything about a relationship is transactional and performative by definition of those words. Because if that person was not transacting the things that you want and performing the things you want performed, you wouldn't be with them. You wouldn't love them. You wouldn't respect them. You wouldn't be attracted to them. So the idea of a woman should be able to be respectful while she's upset, wholeheartedly agree.
Mhm.
However, that's only good in theory. And if, again,
You don't think that happens?
no, I think a lot of things happen. I can say that I would bet every dollar I have that doesn't happen more often than it does.
Oh, okay.
Like that's I'll die on that hill.
Mhm.
Because again, just a perfect example. All you have to, when I tell you all the time, all you gotta do is let somebody talk. You want to know why the way that, like, when I'm debating someone, one of the easiest ways for me to win is to piss the woman off. Like, that's the easiest way to win a debate, is because I tap into their emotional frailty immediately. It works every time. If you look back at every debate I've had, that's why I'm undefeated, because it works every time. You act as if, like, you're saying that I should be able to be like this at home because you're my husband. Why is it that as your husband, I get the worst of you, and when I'm supposed to give you my best, but your boss, like that you said, you don't want to get fired, but you're not worried about, you worried about losing that job more than you're worried about losing me. That's the part that's insane to me, because the moment that a man says that he's worried about losing anything more than your wife, not you specifically, generally speaking, y'all's lips are stuck out.
But I think that's where, like, men take it personal, like, in my opinion, because again, like, when you're dealing, let's say, for example, I know it's a horrible example because I'm not comparing women to children, but when you're dealing with children, when they're, like, in school, for example, they act a certain way. When they're home, they act a certain way. When they're in their quote unquote safe space, they act a certain way. Amongst siblings, it's different as well. As a parent, you wouldn't take it personal if your child was misbehaving amongst their siblings, because that's part of development. This is their safe space. If they're not going to be quote unquote rowdy at home, and all that, where are they going to be able to have that outlet to do that? So with women, with women, I don't understand why it's taken so personally when, again, she's emotional in the moment. It's
Because
not
it's
a
our
personal attack to you. It could
because it's
just
our
be
woman. That's we take everything our woman does personally because it's our woman. And but I understand why you feel that way because you think that if your kids are being bad with their siblings, it's still okay because they're at home and they deserve that outlet. But that's again not a knock on your parent at all. But men, we don't look at it that way. We don't want our kids misbehaving anywhere.
I didn't say misbehaving. I said, again, if they argue
I think you said
amongst
misbehaving amongst their siblings.
no, if they're like rowdy with if they, argue, that's normal sibling, behavior. You can't expect siblings to grow up, in a
But
perfect
what we
environment. They
can do
never
is
fight.
respect and argue with respect.
Absolutely. And that's
So
what I was
that's
saying.
what I'm saying. And that's
Even
the
with
same
the
thing we expect
emotional
you guys to do.
factor.
So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Even with the
it's
emotional
identical
factor,
now.
she's not, like I said earlier, even with her being emotional, she's not dabbling into being disrespectful or insulting or, anything of that nature. She's just being emotional.
Yeah, we're not talking about that
Yeah.
though. We're talking about being disrespectful, emotional, aggressive, and those
But
things.
a lot of the examples you gave are examples of women being emotional.
Yeah.
And it's
Can I push
being
back because I think it's disrespectful. Like even when you talk about the arguing with the siblings, that's because you don't respect your siblings like you respect, these other people and places and things. It's just the reality of it, right? I think it's disrespectful to be inconsiderate. And I think in these situations, you're considering your boss. You're considering a lot of things in the way that you talk to your boss. You're not considering anything in the way that you talk to your man. So I completely understand what you're saying, but I think it's just flat out it is disrespectful. And I think though, in all honesty, the divorce rate kind of tells you that a lot of women just like, yeah, nigga, we'll deal the divorce. I don't care. Like I think it's a lack of respect if we being honest. And I never really dealt with that in my relationships because I'm, maybe I choose different types of women, but the women always respected me. There was always a fear of us not being together to a degree. I'm not saying it was like an active fear, but it should always be in the back of there, like, oh, this person will leave me because this person has boundaries, and vice versa. You as a woman, you should have boundaries, and that man should understand that if you cross that boundary, you serious about leaving him. Because if you're not serious, then yeah, he gonna do what he want.
I think
we definitely adapted to horrible communication in general. And I think the correlation between being able to have restriction and self-control in the workspace is what they're saying. Because if we're being honest, most people aren't having healthy arguments. They're not, and when I say that, they're calling each other out of their names. They're using things that they use in a vulnerable space to hurt this person now in this conversation that has nothing to do with what you're even upset with right now. I don't think it's a matter of just being emotional. We have how many stories of women putting their hands on men during these disagreements and arguments. Like that's more so we're speaking of, where it's like you don't go around swinging, like you don't go around hitting people at school as a kid. If we're going to use the same example, you can't go around hitting kids at school. Why is it okay now to come home and hit each other? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like a level of like, and I get it because I've had this like level of like skirting even myself because I'm a very expressive person. I'm never gonna call you out your name and put my hands on you, but I can get a little bit like the faces sometimes is what's gonna get me. If you find faces disrespectful, you're gonna find me disrespectful. So I think there's also like there's a limit where yes, there is clear disrespect, but there are moments where I think that's kind of what we're getting towards. Like there are moments where I'm not being disrespectful. I'm really just trying to understand, and because it's not very like a stoic conversation that's happening, it's now you're being over emotional, and then it ends up being an attack on me feeling something as I'm trying to express myself, which is where you had asked earlier, Willie, about the silent treatment. I've been guilty of that silent treatment because honestly, my first thoughts is gonna be some thug shit. I'm thinking in my head the most craziest thing sometimes, and I'm like, I don't want to cuss you out right now because I am overly emotional, and I've learned to regulate myself. I do need a quiet period. I haven't quite evolved to the hey, I can't express myself right now. So I'm still working on that personally. So because it does skirt this line of if I do express myself while I'm in the emotion, it will come off as disrespect, regardless of how I'm trying to not disrespect you in
So
that
Miss
certain
Mac,
moment.
Go ahead.
I think
Go ahead.
sometimes too, Miss Mac, could it be what men are asking is when it comes to disrespect? Does everybody know? Because maybe men might feel certain things are disrespectful, right? When we're trying to voice ourselves, and we think we're voicing ourselves, but it's not always what we say. It's like you said, it's how we said it. Because if you say, like how you just said, whatever that statement would have come out, right? Whatever you would have said, no, 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 you know what I mean? I feel like that could be sometimes come off as, that a man would probably say is disrespectful, whereas you may think, or us as women, we may think we're just trying to get our points across.
This is also where alignment comes into play, right? So like me, always goes back to the individual person. I know I don't do good with aggressive people, like the people that got to rah and get all like I don't do well with that because that's not even where I want to go. I don't like to get there because I'm going to take it to hell. I know me enough to know I can't be around somebody that's ready to just fuss and yell all the time. I need someone who can sit and have a conversation and even have a quiet period so we can actually think and then come back to it and have a level-headed conversation. And so this is knowing who you're dealing with. Again, I'm a person where I kind of put that early out there. If your face is bothering you, if me being physically expressive, my face is going to bother your ego, walk away now. Walk away now. I know me enough to know what I'm willing to work on is I won't say, like, I won't call you out your name. You ain't gonna hear no bitch ass nigga, nothing like that out of my mouth. I've never said that. No. That's not how I talk. So you don't have to worry about that, but you may have to worry about me making some faces or rolling my eyes when you're saying something that might sound crazy to me in that moment. So
oh my God.
Hey, real quick.
Which is disrespectful too.
Can you tell me what like some thug shit would be? Because I feel like if you get mad at a nigga, you're gonna be like,
shut your bitch ass up.
I feel like that's what's coming.
I was thinking the same thing.
Listen.
She said,
In the deep depths of sometimes, depending on the situation, my soul, that's the thought process. And then I had to say, okay, I'm upset. I'm angry. Why am I angry? Why am I upset? Where that's even a thought that even came to my spirit for a second. And I do understand with Real Dope saying about rolling eyes can be disrespectful. I definitely understand that. I've been told that. And it's something where I feel like the reasons why I end up rolling my eyes, they were honestly valid because I'm not going to roll my eyes if something doesn't sound insane to me as well. So I get what you're saying for sure. But I also have my own way of processing, I guess. And I guess I don't know how to change that, or if I want to change that in me, if I'm being honest.
Are you one of those women who say things like, I can't control my face if I feel a certain way. I'm just going, it's just how it's how my face gonna be. Are you one of those women?
Feels guilty.
I'm a very I'm in that I wouldn't necessarily always say that, but yeah, I've said that before.
Well,
Yeah.
that's just the lack of self control. It's like, and it's one that you accept. It's like, yo, I don't want to fix it. My face is gonna be how my face is. Like for me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Say the same thing. I feel like when you're, if you know that there's certain things, I just feel like that's like work you got to put into. Like if you know that you can't handle disagreement properly, and you lash out and this is not just for you, but I'm just saying if you lash out, then I mean it's I guess alignment. Like you shouldn't really be in a relationship. You know what? I can't. I'm just thinking of myself, like in my long 12-year relationship, my engagement, like I've never ever yelled. I've never ever, like, if we didn't agree on something, I'm gonna speak it. I mean, I just can't imagine, like, I've seen it before, people like yelling at the person, degrading, or, you have attitude and, you walk, I can't see it. I think that's something hard for me to understand that.
I think
that
women
in a
and
relationship.
men.
I'm sorry, True.
I think women and men review things just a little bit differently. We always do, right? And so for a woman to say that her expression is written over her face and she will prefer to express that way than to lash out and say things that would be disrespectful, like to call you out your name, to get loud, to start cursing. All those different things is what we look at as disrespect, but then it's like, darn if you do, darn if you don't. You're still disrespectful if you roll your eyes, or if you look crazy, or if you look down, and it's like, so I've always been an expressional person. Like, my son was 2 years old in daycare, and they said, "Do you be making faces with him? Because he always make faces when we feed him." Like, that's just always been me. I've always been an expressive person. But to say, and that's probably what got me in trouble in my marriage, now that I think about it, because I
Right. I was
wasn't
about
a
to say that.
verbal person. I didn't curse. I didn't, say things that was to just try to get under his skin or push buttons or hurt his feelings. Like, that's just not me. I'm not a tit for tat. I don't even like to argue. So for me, I'll just, be quiet. And yeah, my face may be like, oh my gosh, like, I gotta go through this again,
But
and
Paris, is that
so
okay
So
I
though?
guess I get
basically,
in trouble for
You know
that.
what I'm saying? Is
you
that okay?
prefer
Well,
Is that
you
apparently,
okay?
prefer
apparently not. Darn if you do, darn if you don't.
no. So
Like, I mean,
so
rather for
darn
me
if
to
we do,
just
darn if we
curse
don't.
you out, go there, take it there,
Yeah.
argue.
Darn, darn if
Right.
we do,
I'm
darn if
I'm
we don't.
using the
Hold on.
less passive way. I'm still a human being. I still have emotions. So for me to be able to, because as a man, you can express your emotions and it could come off a little, aggressive to me. You could raise your tone and it could be loud, and I'm not going to say lower your tone, but you can express that way and it's totally okay. I
Who said you
can't.
couldn't do that?
So for me, my expression is my face. Like, I may just be in
Yeah.
my thought or
So
be like, oh
so
my gosh, but
so
I'll still get in trouble.
so
So wait,
darn
who
if we
said
do,
you couldn't
darn if we
express
hold on, hold on,
yourself?
hold on, Willie. Hold on. It's darn if we do, darn if we don't is an excuse, right? It's to say that, oh, it's to go from one extreme to the other. No, it's a middle. There's a middle, right? There's a middle inside of there. Like, you can control your facial expressions. You just don't want to. You prefer passive aggressive versus being like loud. Cool, I get it, I dig it,
Don't
but
don't
you
want
can control it. And it's like, for example, like your kid can't look at you however they want to after you tell them to do something because they can't look at you already because it's disrespectful. Like, you can
The
control
first
your
thing you
face. You
say
can
is fix your face.
control your face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
fix
don't
your
think
face. We heard that
So if you
growing
make
up.
me
but we
happy,
always
and wait, if
equating
you make me
adults as
happy,
kids.
if if you make
When
me happy and make me smile, that's okay for my face to be expressive. But the moment you say something that makes my face frown up is now disrespect. I think that's also
I
over.
can answer that. I can answer
Okay.
that. It depends. It depends, right? Because we're adults, right? And we got to be reasonable. We got to be sensible. We got to be sensible and reason. We got to be reasonable and sensible, right? There are certain things, right? For example, if I got a food, if you see me eating my food and you find my food to be disgusting and you have a reaction of like, ugh, no, your parents tell you not to do that. Don't do that. Control your face when somebody's eating food. You don't yuck somebody's yum, right? That's what they say. Like, you
So
can control your
what
face, and there are some.
so how
Yeah, go ahead.
how do we supposed to react? So we can't
How you
raise
supposed to
our
react?
voice, we
Yeah.
can't curse, we can't say things to hurt your feelings, we can't have
Mhm.
facial expressions apparently.
So
So
no, you can't
what
be a pity
can we
person.
do?
You can express
Because we
You
yourself
can
with your
because we
cry.
words.
still have
You can
feelings
cry.
and
That's the only thing you're
emotions.
allowed to do.
They
You
don't
can
even care
express
about
yourself
that.
with your
My
words.
husband used to tell me that
No,
ain't nothing. They
Exactly.
don't care about that.
Say that
Exactly.
now.
you
Now,
can
say you can express
Exactly.
yourself with your words, but not do anything with your face. Like anything
Thank you.
like. Let's be realistic here. Like,
there
come
are
on.
things you can
Everybody
do with your
on here has
face.
made a face while they were speaking, listening. Everyone on here has made some kind of a face in
But we
some
don't
way,
make
shape, or
Even
form.
hand
expressions with our.
gestures.
So what
I
are we talking
agree.
Like, you're
about?
Yes,
talking
So
and
thank
you're
you.
expressing
what are
For
we
yourself with
talking
your
example,
about
hands.
now?
Like,
Come
the
these
on.
are
Come
forms of
the faces
on.
that I
Come
make
expression.
with y'all
on.
are
Come
not the faces
on.
that I make with my woman. Like, I make because not trying to be funny, but I don't give a fuck about none of y'all compared to how I care about my woman. So whatever face I make is the face you're going to get. Y'all have that same. You guys want to have that same idea with your men, and that's the problem. Because I can't help it. Because you remember I said earlier what the difference between an excuse and a reason was. Y'all are making excuses for why your face is always fucked up. Now, Miss Mac, I understand where you're coming from because I am you. If I don't say what I'm thinking, like, you can read it across my forehead. You'll know exactly what I'm thinking. The people who know me best know that if it's not about what you hear me say, it's about what my face says. Because I can have a conversation that I don't give a fuck about, but my mouth and my tone and my intonation and everything about what I'm saying will make you think that I care. But my face will let you know that I'm looking at you for real, like you have shit on your shirt. Like I don't care anything about what we're talking about, so I get you. But this is the thing, though. In situations where respect is in order, you can't do that. I'm very good about communicating with my parents. Even when they say some bullshit, I don't give them the same face that I will give y'all when y'all say some bullshit out of respect. That is the difference, and that is the deference that we're asking for from our women. Nope, I'm not even going to respond to though. All we can do is cry shit because that's just hyperbolic. But what you're saying is actually something that's worth exploring. When men say that, like, y'all, we understand your emotions, but what we also need y'all to understand is that they are your emotions. They're not ours. We shouldn't have to deal with the negative ones just because sometimes we get the positive ones. For example, you said that, well, I can smile when I'm happy, but when I'm not, it's a problem, right? Cool. Well, we also know that you'll smile when you're not happy. We know, like, when we, hey, can we go out with our boys? You'll be like, oh yeah, cool, go ahead. We know what that go ahead really means, that smile behind it really means. So we can't say that there's a one size fits all for these things. But now you said you can't raise your voice. I mean, Perry said you can't raise your voice. No, you can't do anything aggressive unless you want your man to treat you aggressively. So if you think that your inability to process your emotions and to comport yourself as the feminine, respectful woman that he chose to commit to, then that's, again, not his fault. That's your problem. Because, again, just like that, your emotions are your problem as well. All you can do is expect us to consider them as long as we see benefit to it. And after a while, you being disrespectful and having that mouth and being emotionally immature and not able to regulate yourself, how many times do you think niggas are going to deal with that? This is when you start seeing husbands that need 45 minutes to sit in their driveway before they go in the house because they already have to deal with a day's worth of bullshit, and now they got to come in there and deal with your bullshit too. And if we're being honest, the majority of y'all, your emotions are based off, like, when y'all have these fucked up stories about what so-and-so did to you, we understand why they did it to you because you be dead ass wrong. But we can't tell you that because in consideration of your emotions.
Yeah, so you just taught me something
Go
about
ahead.
myself. I'm not ready to date
Oh,
because I'm not
let
ready to
let
change
Bo get
my
in there.
facial expressions. I don't think that my facial expressions to be taken for disrespect. It's just the way that I express myself. So I guess I'm disrespectful and I just realized that. But yeah, that's just crazy. That's crazy. Because if I'm not getting
Well, you
loud
know,
person, I don't ever bring the problems. 9 out of 10, if I'm having a facial expression, it's
Y'all
because you're
stop.
schooling me on something or you're mad at me about something. And sometimes I don't really care about it because it'd be something so little or minute that I really could care less. So my expression probably would show that I really don't care. And that's why I'm not going to argue back with you. It's not worth me arguing over. It's not worth me going back and forth with you. But if I tell you I don't care, then I'm offending you. So again, darn if I do, darn if I don't. I'm just be single for a
there are
while.
certain there are certain facial
Hold on.
expressions that you can make.
We doing the moves. We doing the moves. Hold on, Bo. Go ahead, Bo.
Bo.
Okay. Jesus Christ. And so that's really why I'm here. If y'all really want to know why the Lord put me on this panel, it's really because a lot of people have very, like, limited thinking. And so I'm not saying any of what was said was wrong. I am adding to it because there are other things that exist in the world. Honestly, some people cannot help their facial expressions. If in fact it wasn't for the fact that I can actually see myself, there's no telling what kind of facial expressions I'd be making. I stop myself a lot because I can see myself. Now, I will admit that eye rolling and doing all of the things and making noises, yes, you can help that unless you have impulse control issues. And then there's medication for that. However, if someone is saying something really aggressively, my Lord Jesus, my facial expression changes. My facial expression changes with whatever energy is coming at me. So if you're sending energy, it's going to read all over my face. It's not necessarily like that I have an attitude, or it's not defiance or disrespect. Like literally whatever energy you give me, it's probably going to read on my face. So if it's aggressive on my face, you probably need to calm your ass down. But like I want us to stop putting like labels on everything. Just because you see someone make a face does not mean that they're being disrespectful. It doesn't mean, oh, you can control that. I don't even know I'm doing it, sir. How can I control something I don't even know is happening? Put a mirror in front of my face. I'll straighten it up. I don't even know what's happening right now.
Well,
So, like, huh?
How many times would you let somebody that you love or know that's around you walk around you and be musty before you told them?
That is different. I
No, it's
can
not.
smell that. You can't
You
can
see
smell
your
yourself
own
before anybody
face,
else
Willie.
can.
Again, right? Being self-aware is the problem. And if you know that you have a problem and you choose to accept it, then again, that's a lack of discipline or prioritization on your point.
It is not, Willie. How do you stop something you literally do not know is happening in that moment? I literally do not know that I'm making a face unless I'm looking at my face.
I mean,
and how many times can you look in your own face?
I
Just
learned
put
it.
up a mirror.
I learned it being in the
Hold on.
military. I learned it playing poker. I learned it dealing with women. Like it's
And
just
I have done none of that. Well, I've
again,
done one of those.
all
but
three of those things caused me to be intentional about disciplining
done one of
myself
them.
against doing that thing. That's why. You know,
But-
like, so for example, if I have to go give a speech somewhere, I cannot be up there in front of 200, 300, 400 people talking about whatever professional thing I'm talking about with my face saying, I would rather be in bed, sleep, or I'd rather be home playing the game, or I'd rather be looking at my woman naked. I can't have
Well, of
my face.
course.
So again, right? My face needs to match the environment or the people that I'm talking to.
Right.
When you're with your
energy.
That's what I just said, Willie. If you're
Well, I
giving
said
me
that.
that energy, if you're giving me you ought to see me look at some post on social media. If someone is yelling at the phone, I literally have like watched a video and literally went to record something and saw my face and I was like, Jesus Christ. Because whatever energy is coming at me, that is what my face is going to do. So my face is a reflection of your ass, not me.
I think it's
That's what I'm
natural
saying.
I think it's natural to have to typically have those responses, right? But if you know that this is an issue, or if you know that you're someone who wears your emotions on your face, then it's about being intentional. I don't know if it was Mont that said something about it, like the kids. Like I know, my daughter could make faces all she wants behind my back, right? But in front of me, like you better have a certain level of respect. So if I see something like that, I'm going to say it. So I think it's the same thing.
Am I not
Yeah,
explaining this
hold on, Bo.
correctly or
No,
something?
you explained it perfectly. People,
Because if I'm not,
Bo, you explained it perfectly, right? This is the thing. People, nobody's cognizant of nothing that they do. When we get into arguments and we start raising our voice, we don't know that we're raising our voice until somebody let us know. But you're not self-aware in that moment a lot of times. Eventually you get to a point where you hear it, right? But when you start to escalate, you don't know that you're escalating until you're in the thick of it a lot, right? But
sometimes.
For the most part, right?
But
a lot of the things that we do, these things, it takes work. But I think what we're saying is we're not willing to put in the work. It absolutely takes work to work on these things.
It is.
Yeah, I love my
It's
expressions.
two different things, but it's two different things. If my face is frowned up, I probably do not know it for real. But if I'm rolling my eyes, I know I'm doing that. If I'm like, I know I'm doing something like that, but there are subtle facial expressions that you literally do not know what you're doing. Also,
that's not what we're
if
arguing
I'm
about.
doing that, hold on. But I'm saying There are certain things that people do get offended by, but that is not my problem. That is a personal problem. If you have a problem with the facial expression that you are creating, if you're pushing a certain sort of energy to me that is making my face literally scrunch up and I don't know it, and simultaneously you have a problem with it, that's your problem. That ain't mine. You need to calm your motherfucking ass down. And
Bro, that's your
maybe
choice. That's a
no, it
choice.
is not. If I
100%
don't know
it's a
that I'm
choice.
making you know what?
So
It
this
don't even
is the
matter.
thing,
Bro,
right?
if I'm rolling my eyes and scratching my face, I know
It's
what I'm
okay.
doing.
It's
But
okay. It's okay. Because
the
men is
crazy,
going to
the
continue
craziest
to
shit in the world
defend
that
Both
I
slow.
said a long
Both slow.
time is that a man can make you do something. It's so convenient now that men can. It's our fault we make y'all do bad shit that we don't like. But again,
it's
being
nobody's
si-
I ain't
fault.
even talking about
You
men.
mad
now I
because
will
you
give
don't
you that.
like it.
Being single, it makes sense for you to think that way. That shit doesn't work in relationships because if men apply that same logic, I'm just following the logic here that you are making him do something. We'll be back at the time when y'all's heads are going between washer and dryers again because a lot of niggas can only express themselves physically. Some niggas don't know that,
Y'all
damn,
get
you pissed
loud.
me off and now I done punch somebody in the forehead. Some dudes are like that. Or just to use the
Y'all get loud. Y'all change your
some
tone.
niggas don't understand like that when you interrupt them, like they'll be like, bitch, shut up. That's not what they meant though, but that's just their natural, that's how they respond. Or they'll be like, bitch, shut up on their face, and y'all know what that looks like, and it's not kind, it's not compassionate, and it's not cool, and y'all wouldn't accept that. So stop trying to say that men should accept you guys for not doing the work that you know you need to do. The reason why I use the nigga being musty example is because once you make somebody aware of a problem, it is on them. So if the first time you tell a nigga that he stinks and then you see him again and he still stinks, that nigga has chosen to stink. If a man tells Paris that her face is fucked up and that's why he's not fucking with her no more, and then she doesn't do anything about it, and the next nigga tells her the same thing, she has chosen to accept that. That's the problem. There's a choice that you guys are acting like we're making for you, and you're making it for yourself.
Yeah, also, I tell these guys all the time that tone matters, right? And all they say is like, tone don't matter, tone don't matter. These niggas is making a choice that they want to talk to y'all however they want to talk to y'all, and that's the choice that they making.
I think that a lot of ladies, as I was hearing all you guys discuss this, I don't think that you guys, and I'm gonna say this against the men, and this is in general, I don't think you guys understand that most men are not equipped to deal with your emotions. So by baseline, what they would like to do is for you to arrive at where they can understand you, in my honest opinion. That's not to remove what the fellas was saying in the fact that you are responsible for yourself, but maybe we're not giving you the right words or the right context. The reason why we compare it to the job is because we're observing your ability to arrive at a place to where you're probably not comfortable. You probably don't feel safe, like Restoring was saying, but you know how to arrive. But somehow, some way, from what I gathered from Restoring, there's an expectation that in a relationship, it's an intimate, soft space. But I think you guys give us this, we're supposed to know how to deal with your emotions. I think that's a fallacy. We have to grow to learn how to deal with your emotions, in my honest opinion. Most men are not built like that by default. So what we like to do is to try to arrive where we can comprehend or make it make sense, make it simple. And we do hold you to an expectation that you're a grown person. So don't arrive like an infant. And I think that that's fair. But it sounds like you guys are giving us more credit maybe we should have until that man has grown to learn to deal with you on an individual level. At least that's my opinion.
I agree. That's why.
So can I say a few things really quick? That's not fair. So we are opposite from men, right? We're women, we're not men, and you guys tell us that all the time, right? So if we got to learn you guys and got to understand you guys, then we should have that same respect or energy given back towards us. So men know that women are emotional. They know that these are things that, we do. So to be able to get to understand them instead of complain about them and say you need to fix them, because there's a lot of things that you guys do that we had to learn and understand as well, instead of complaining and telling you need to fix it so I can understand it. Two, Will, I caught that little sidebar.
I didn't sidebar.
I
I
will
used
shut
that
up.
example because it was a
Yeah.
logical point, and I wanted to make sure you understood it. I'm the most direct nigga on the internet, so it's never a sidebar for me.
No, I mess with you. But yeah, I don't think it's fair to say that we need to control something that we just naturally do, and we're not coming off disrespectful or tend to come off disrespectful. So I can understand if I'm doing something with the intention of disrespecting you, but for men to just say, "Oh, I just felt disrespect because you know made a facial expression," is like, dang, like that wasn't my intention. That I express myself, my is written all over my face all the time. So to say, well, you need to fix that because I feel like you disrespecting me, is like, come on now.
Men are never complaining
But it's
about it
all
when they
good.
know that the intention wasn't to be disrespectful. By the time a man is complaining about your face, you've given him a reason to complain about it by being disrespectful blatantly sometimes, or being passive aggressive or condescending, or whatever the thing it is he's talking about. But you're saying, like, the problem is that the only people who care about fair are race judges and women, like first, second, third, and like in competitive and referees. Like, man, we don't give a shit about what's fair, because it's not fair that we have to give more and sacrifice more for a relationship than what we tend to get in mass. That's not fair. But you don't see men talking about what's fair. One of the worst things that happens in this space is that we have to have conversations based on how y'all feel. Like, because you start off, well, I feel like, well, I think it's never anything about like what you believe. Like, so you say, well, I feel like I don't think it's fair because, again, we are different. So we're not asking you to accept, you're asking us to tolerate you being emotionally lazy. And that's not, and that way, if you want to say what's fair now, that's what's not fair. A man has to do what it takes to control his emotions, because our emotions tend to manifest themselves physically. Stress, violence, whatever. We are taught from the time we are babies to not hit girls, to treat girls kindly, to be nice. Y'all are never taught or expected to be respectful to men, to be kind to men. So if you're saying that, if we talk about what's fair, to be honest, it should be a lot easier to be fair for y'all to fix your face than it would be for a man to want to express himself harshly when he's talking to you, physically when he's talking to you. But the problem is y'all are ran by your emotions and not logic, because logically saying that it's not my fault, I don't know, after someone's made you aware for it is just simply illogical. Go upstairs.
Well, that's also throwing in the fact that women, like some women's reaction is like to control themselves physically too. I think sometimes we get so much into like separating that, like that we are like this, like sometimes I'm like this moment of like this separation is like, yes, my controlling right now of my emotion where I'm making a face is I'm not being nasty and saying something nasty. I'm thinking about what I'm like, what's actually happening, what's going on. I'm not physically reacting either, because it's not as if women sometimes don't want to put their hands up either. So when I'm saying just a face, I'm talking about the person, just like the scale of what we're talking about disrespect is just their face. There's so many other things that they have actually suppressed in that expression in that time too.
But we're talking about the face though. And the reason why women don't physically express themselves to men, because you know what the consequence is. And the majority of y'all will get dog walked if you hit a man that's willing to hit you back. The reason why so many women think that it's okay to hit men is because for the past 3 decades, men have been being told it's not okay to hit women. That's why y'all do that. Because if you knew the consequence of you putting your hands on a man was guaranteed to be you getting beat the fuck up by a stronger human, you wouldn't even consider it. That's the point. It's not because you know that it's the right thing to do. It's not because you think that it's a kind thing to do. It's when you want to put your hands on a man, is because you think you can get away with it. Like my grandfather gave me pre-game. He said, any bitch that thinks she can beat up niggas has never met a nigga that beats bitches. For women who think they can put their hands on men all arbitrarily and walk away scot-free have never been with a man who really will beat a woman's ass. They've only been with men who will take that shit, run, call the police.
But we don't have to be extreme to actually putting hands on, but there's a lot of things that we are withholding. Just we could be getting loud. We could be ready to say something that's really gonna hurt your feelings. I know. That's why I'm still changing the example, but making it relevant to what she's saying. Like, because we could still, you know, be holding ourselves back from getting loud, getting irate, getting out that feminine energy that you love so much, start cussing you out, start saying things that's really going to hurt your feelings. We can do that too, but instead we hold it in and maybe have a couple of facial expressions here and there to keep from doing that.
But if you can do all of that, then control your face. You can do that too.
Oh, thank
So
you.
like,
We will.
that's, I mean, some of y'all won't, but again, if you can do all of the other hard stuff, controlling your face should be the easiest part of all of that.
But when
I'm
I'm
just
ready to
still trying
control
to
it, I need to take
understand
your
with having
poker
a actual
class.
conversation with the person in general. On what planet are we not using our faces? I'm because I wasn't even like going to the extreme of like necessarily even just rolling eyes, just even a scrunch of a face. Is this moment of like,
I don't
when
think that's
does
what we're
it?
talking about though.
Okay.
The
So
scrunching face,
what are you
like what
talking
you're.
about?
So again, this is the thing, right? We're having to define. Well, not for you, Miss Mac, but more so for you, Paris. You're trying to ask us to define the stuff that should be common sense, Miss Mac. None of us men up here are talking about when you scrunch your face, but the rolling your eyes, you know what I'm saying, the smacking your teeth, the pursing your lips, those things, that's what we're talking about. The stuff that you do intentionally to be disrespectful when you want to, the stuff that you don't do when you're talking to your boss. That's the stuff that we're talking about. That's like, this is the problem. We had these conversations with women. Y'all keep trying to make, not you all, but some of y'all keep trying to make us like explain the common sense shit, because if we, then you attack the part that we like, again, the unsaid part. It should be common fucking sense that if I say, hey, we're just hypothetically, we're in a relationship, I'm like, Miss Mac, hey, what happened to the trash? And you scrunch your face. Like, I'm not going to take that as disrespect. It's going to be more confusion. But now if I'm like, hey, what happened to you doing so-and-so? And then you roll your eyes or smack your teeth, you know exactly what you're doing. So giving you credit, you said you can do all these things. I can control my mouth. I can control, my tongue. You can control your face too. You just have to want to. And I think that since a lot of y'all feel like that if I do these things, you should give me some leeway because I don't do this thing. And that just goes to show that women try to extrapolate to the power of everything. If they do one thing along a path of choices, along a procedure, they get the first step done, they should get credit for the other 8. And that's just not how life works.
Well, now that you put it like that, yeah, I guess we should have had common sense because I didn't think about it just in those particulars. I thought we were talking about just all facial expressions when it comes to conversations.
To
So
be
that's
fair,
the reason
that's what
why
was said originally.
yeah,
That's
that's
what was said originally,
what I
to
was
be fair. I
thinking.
think that's where the confusion
Yeah,
comes from.
I didn't know
is
you were
the
saying
goalpost
just
is
rolling
moved.
eyes and smacking teeth.
Well, originally I specified that we're not talking about the basic shit. I was very clear in that. We're talking about things that were disrespectful. I think it's at the, hold on, I keep a bunch of tabs open. It's around the 3 hour, the 3 hour and 22 minute mark. So again, like, I'm very specific about what I'm talking about. So originally that's not what was said. Because what I was speaking to was it should be common sense that some of these emotions aren't the problem. We're not talking about you being, sad, more emotionally frail, crying when you see Lion King, Fruitvale Station, whatever. Like, if I watch Top Gun Maverick, I might sweat a little bit being a former Navy guy. We understand those emotions. We're talking about the ones you guys use in aggressive situations or combative situations where the intent is to be disrespectful. But I shouldn't have to explain that to a panel of adult women that aren't the hyena bitches that we tend to have to explain these things to, because I hold you guys all above that standard.
Do we have any final thoughts? I know some folks been quiet. Jay, True, Keish, Village. Do I want to say anything I want to add?
I think there's a show to be hatched after this disconnect of facial expressions, women having the room to express themselves from a safe space. I think there's a show to be had from this, from my observation.
Okay.
I guess
I think.
Nope. Go ahead, Jay, because you don't hardly say nothing.
Oh. No, I just think that if I feel like I have to respond in that way where like I'm yelling or I gotta cuss the person out, we're having a disagreement, like I'm not even gonna be with a person where I gotta be like that. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to have to, if the person I'm with, that's supposed to be my peace. I shouldn't have to cuss at them or raise my voice. Like, we should be able to have a conversation. If we can't have a conversation, like I I saw all this prior to getting, with somebody, unless I just jumped into it without, really taking the time to consider. But that's not even, nah, that's not something I would even want to entertain.
All right, Keisha, Bo, y'all want to go?
So I would say I think that overall this whole discussion for the day, I think that just most people, men and women, aren't marriage minded. I think we're all focused on finding the perfect person instead of becoming the right person. And I think that's the problem. That's all.
Miss Bo?
I would like to just say that I am generally a very respectful person. I generally tend to respect those who respect me. And so if in fact someone does disrespect me, I'm going to hell. And so Blue Chew crew, be warned. I was very good tonight. The people on the panel, especially Lapeef, saved your lives tonight. But they will not be able to hold me back for much longer. Something is brewing up inside of me, and if you all do not learn to respect me the same way I learned to respect you and stay out of y'all business, then you all will see me go straight to hell. So we either gonna stay here in this realm, or I'm taking it straight to hell. The devil's balls, by the way, his nutsack, and it's very hairy, and I'm gonna put your face all in it. So leave me alone, and I will leave you alone. That is it. That is all.
You just gotta ignore it.
Like
I will. I
know you don't
did.
have
I
balls, bro.
have.
But to be fair, nut hair doesn't hold up well in under flame. So I don't think the devil has hairy balls. Just
The devil's not in the flames. He puts everybody else in the flames. His hair is just fine. It's very sweaty, and I'm sure it's stanky, and I'm going to put their face all in it. You raggedy. So yes, I have been ignoring it. I have been very, very calm about it. They have been extremely disrespectful, taking personal shots. I just would like to forewarn, because I always warn people before I do it. I'm like, all right, calm down. Don't do it. Leave me alone, because I'm leaving you alone. And if you refuse to do it, it's just a short search on the internet. It's just a short search on the internet. I'll find you.
Bro, don't nobody hold
I love how
nobody.
passive you are. I love how passive you are.
No, do that shit on the show. Don't be trying to go on your own panel and do that shit. Get JR.
No, it's gonna be here. I'm going to find them. I need the ammunition first.
Do that shit on the show.
I am.
Like,
but
find them on the show and then change their background to their face.
I am. I have to go do some research first.
Okay.
And I'm going to have I'm gonna have it in the clip. And then when I let it off, y'all shut up and don't play victim. Don't you play victim. She taking shots
live,
at
right?
people.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like I have to sell a course on this because this you're talking my language now.
Yeah. Oh, this Virgo gonna Virgo all day long. That's my line of thought.
I don't know shit about
yeah.
that.
Psychopath immediately.
Wait,
and
I'm
gonna show you.
though.
Virgos?
No.
Most psychopaths, I mean, not most, but a lot of psychopaths are Virgos. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
He can, if I was explaining to someone how to respect the husband is a failure of parenthood in society. A woman's supposed to respect her husband regardless.
Yeah, so irregardless is not a word. I really wish that we as black people would stop trying to get that in the fucking dictionary.
Select 250 joules, laughing disco. And lastly, Brother Newsy, a member, $5. Want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform, everybody that's on the panel as well. Thank you guys. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all weekend and make sure you brush and floss your teeth tonight. We are out.